conference opener for two Northern Division arch-enemies. The Kansas Jayhawks take on the 21st-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers. Last year, Kansas embarrassed the Big Red Nation. This season, both teams come into the battle 3-1. Both teams are getting the job done on defense, and both squads have a balanced offensive attack, just like the good old days. The black shirts are back. The Jayhawks just beat a bowl team, and it's head-banging, body-bruising football under the lights in Lincoln, Kansas, and 21st-ranked Nebraska next.
Last season, Kansas running back John Cornish led the Jayhawks to one of their biggest wins in decades. It was a shocker of the Huskers in Lawrence. But tonight, surrounded by a sea of red, it is going to be far more difficult. And from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska, it's Big 12 football presented by Kyocera, as the Jayhawks take on the 21st-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers. Hi, everybody. Joel Myers alongside Dave Lapham. Welcome to one of the great venues in all of college football. Dave, when Bill Callahan arrived at Nebraska, he wanted to throw the football more than they had in the past. Ultimately, he wanted to see balance from his offensive attack, and now, 3 years later, he's accomplished that.
He really has, and the West Coast offense is about balance, and you have to be able to run the football. Last season, they only ran it for 96 yards a game, 2.7 yards a carry. They're out of balance. This year, so much more effective running the football for 224 yards a game and still throwing it for about the same. Very, very balanced. And the key to it is Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor has got number 3 in the country in quarterback efficiency, completing almost 71% of his passes, 8 touchdowns to 6 different receivers with only 2 interceptions. He has got the West Coast offense figured out. One thing he's going to do to get the ball to Marlon Lucky, one of 4 talented running backs we'll see tonight, averaged over 15 yards a carry last week, and he had 3 touchdowns from very long distance. He can get 0 to 60 in a heartbeat.
Strange sort of week preparation-wise for the Kansas Jayhawks. Who is going to be their starting quarterback and getting ready for the Huskers, Barman or Meyer?
Well, it's going to be Barman. Meyer's got a shoulder problem, and Barman has got to keep his team out of jeopardy. Make good decisions with the football, ball security, get him out of a bad play at the line of scrimmage into a good one, and a good play is to get the ball to John Cornish. In 3 of his 4 games this season, he has rushed the ball for over 100 yards in that game, averaging 109 yards for the season. And don't forget, last year against Nebraska, he had 105 yards rushing, and he had a 72-yard touchdown run at a key time of the game that put the Kansas Jayhawks in control of that football game. Nebraska's coaching staff and players have a lot of respect for John Cornish.
Real good matchup as well defensively in the front 7. Adam Carricker, the defensive end, leading it for the Huskers. Outside linebacker Eric Washington coming off his best game of the season so far for the Jayhawks. Stay with us when we come back. Mike Goldberg, Billy Ray Smith, DeMarco Farr in our College Football Saturday studio. You're watching Big 12 football, all presented by Kyocera.
For 100 yards or more, they're 6-1. How do you slow them down tonight?
Well, the front's got to be active tonight. There's no question about that. We just got to play sound, fundamental football and be smart and not give them the gaps that he had a year ago.
Best of luck. Thank you, Coach.
All right, Jim. Well, weather couldn't be any better. No humidity at all for this part of the country at this time of the year. And walking over, and what a walk it was, Dave, from our hotel to the ballpark with nice. all the folks on the streets. It is a classic environment.
It is. I mean, this is literally a sea of red. This venue is as good as it gets in college football. I mean, this is what college football is all about. It really makes the hair on the back of the neck stand at full attention.
The longest uninterrupted series in Division 1A play. 101 games. And we'll talk about where it ranks all time among the oldest series. As Webb will kick it away, Jackson and Wilson. Back deep, the running backs for Nebraska. And over to the far side, it's going to be Kenny Wilson. It's over his head, though, so Scott Webb gets it done for the Jayhawks as they won the toss, deferred, took their option to the second half. And you were just talking about this young man who has now said that he has never felt this good, this comfortable playing the game of football. And that is Zach Taylor, our Kyocera starting lineup offensively. for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and what an efficiency rating of 71%. You look at those numbers from last week, 14 of 17, almost 300 yards. He only played one series in the second half. That's how good it was for Zach Taylor.
Well, he's been really good throwing the ball on first down. Let's see if they throw it here.
They'll give it to the fullback, bouncing out, and nice move by the big back. It'll be Brandon Jackson taking it over to the right side as they had Lucky and Jackson in there. The junior from Horn Lake, Mississippi, with the first carry of the day. And good yardage, about 5. Offensive line, Slauson, Huff, Byford, Austin, and Patrick. And Byford in there for the injured man. Lucky in the backfield with Dane Todd as well, the fullback. Swift and Nunn are the wide receivers. The experience of Terrence Nunn, coming off a great year last year. First team All Big 12 as a punt returner. As Erickson's into the game, they spread the defense, and Taylor out on the edge. Plenty of time, and a wide-open Terrence Nunn. He's beating his man down the sideline. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Wow. Well, Nebraska does a great job of getting Zach Taylor out of pocket, changing the launch point. A double move, out and up, and bit on the out. That's the problem. Anthony Webb, the true freshman, bit on the out pattern, and it was a double move, out and up. And when he took it up, Terrence Nunn was Gandhi. See you later.
Yeah, it's a career-long pass for Zach Taylor, a 75-yarder to Terrence Nunn.
He went right after the true freshman at cornerback, Webb.
Congdon for the point after. He's done that well, and that's his 25th this year. He's perfect on those attempts. Not many field goal tries for the Huskers place kicker, and they don't mind that at all. They don't settle for 3. They get an early 7. And what a shocker this time with the Kansas Jayhawks. They don't know what hit them. Leads the Big 12 in kickoff returns, waits back inside his 5. A directional one over to the far side. He'll take it to 3. And nice moves to get it outside, and a good return across the 25 to the 29. Kyocera starting 11 offensively. And to the backfield, Adam Barman, and the guys in the studio, Billy Ray, DeMarco, and Mike were just talking about it. The last time Kansas played here, Adam Barman got the start. It was a loss, of course, for the Jayhawks. They haven't won in Lincoln since 1968. 15th career start for Barman, who did get the call last week. He was efficient. They didn't ask a lot, and Cornish took a lot of the load off him, Dave.
Yeah, and they're not going to ask him to win the game today. They're going to ask him to manage the game and not put his team in jeopardy with any bad decisions at all.
Spread the defense with 2 to each side. And right away, they want to throw the football. Heat on Barman, and a low throw skips. Did Murph get to it? No, a trap. It'll be 2nd and 10. On the offensive line, the experience is on the left side for the Kansas Jayhawks. Bob Whitaker, the senior from Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania, and Cesar Rodriguez, as well as David Ochoa, another senior out of Houston, honorable mention All Big 12 center last year. Cornish and McAnderson to the backfield. Henry, Murph, and Fine is the tight end. We'll also see Fields as well as Dominic Rue and Marcus Herford. Trips on the wide side of the field on 2nd and 10. Cornish on the delay. Man goes across the 35 to the 38. Good yardage on 2nd and long. Brought down by McEwen, the middle linebacker. The defensive 11 for the Blackshirts. Moore and Character, 2 of the best defensive ends in the Big 12. Daganduro and Pryor underneath tackles with Bradley, McEwen, and Bo. Barrett's little brother Bo Rue, the weak side backer. On the outside, Jones and Grigsby, and Shanley and Green at the safety spots. Jake Sharp, true freshman to the backfield. They only need about 1.5 yards, and Barman overshoots his man, intercepted. Shanley, the safety, with the pick.
Well, you got a situation here, quarterback and receiver not on the same page. Barman thought his receiver was going to drift to the middle of the field more. Receiver just hooked up immediately, and Barman threw it to Shanley. I mean, basically, he turned himself into the intended receiver. And he's throwing to an area where he thinks his receiver's going to come in, and his receiver hooked up and stopped, and he just I mean, Shanley looked like he was the intended receiver, basically.
Now, they had Derek Fine originally, but then all of a sudden it was late and it was high and wide. That was the tight end.
Yeah, high and wide. I mean, he thought Fine was going to be in a different spot than he was, and he just threw it right into Shanley's chest.
Brandon Jackson, huge hole. Dave, you and I could run through that one. Inside the 40 with a stiff arm and a first down all the way to the 36 of the Jayhawks. A gain of 13.
Nice trap block by the left guard, Greg Austin. He pulls from that left guard position. Look at 65 in the red jersey, get the kick out block, and man, it just was backdoored by another great running back. They've got tremendous running backs. Brandon Jackson, Lucky. I mean, you're going to see them all. They got Kenny Wilson. You're going to see 4 different running backs tonight, and they all gash you for nice yards.
And Cody Glenn missed the Troy game with a hamstring injury, but he's available as well. On to the fullback. He's in there. Van Taylor throws it wide of none on first down. It'll be 2nd and 10. You bring up a great point, the way they like to wear people out with their 4 backs of Lucky, Glenn, Jackson, and Wilson. In fact, the luxury for Zach Taylor and Bill Callahan. In their first 4 games, they've had 3 different running backs lead them on the ground.
Yeah, and they had 2 running backs last week go over the century mark. I mean, when you have 2 go over 100 yards in the same game, you're getting something done. And their yards per carry was tremendously efficient. And remember, the Kansas Jayhawks have not given up a 100-yard rusher in 17 games, 2nd best in the country.
The play fake for Lucky, buying time, and a low throw. Taylor had none available again. He can't believe it, a guy who's hit 71% of his passes.
Yeah, Rodney Allen got the pressure and made Zach Taylor step up, but he could not find his receiver. And Zach Taylor has been tremendously accurate, completing almost 71%. Rodney Allen up top here, he's the one that's going to apply the pressure and make Zach Taylor step up into the pocket. And Zach Taylor knows, I didn't have my mechanics quite right, and as a result of that, my follow-through, I threw it short.
3 wide receivers and almost a 4th because they stand up Harrion, another tight end, their record-setting tight end. Taylor needs 10, and on a bullet, overshoots France Harding, a junior from Miami.
Well, he got hit again as he was throwing the football by Rodney Allen. Rodney Allen's doing a good job bringing pressure from the edge. He's got 3 sacks on the season, and he's pressured Zach Taylor 2 plays in a row. If it wasn't for Allen with the pressure, Nebraska would still be on the football field. And makes a nice little spin move inside and hits Zach Taylor right as he's delivering the football and makes it just a little bit high as a result of that pressure.
Dan Titchener, after 1 first down, they couldn't capitalize on the takeaway. They will be forced to punt. Titchener near the midfield stripe. Man, it's going to be Jonathan Lamb, not Brian Murph back there. Can they get it down inside the 10? Good punt coverage. Sideways. It'll go out of bounds. They didn't have to touch it. That's how good it was for Titchener.
At the 1-yard line. Can't do any better than that.
So they had it covered if it got near the goal line, but it went sideways. Why doesn't my wedge work like that?
Yeah, really.
Tonight's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting of the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 176 countries and aboard ships at sea. And they're watching around the world today. Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, Japan. We want to welcome everybody, protecting our freedom as we watch this game in Lincoln, Nebraska. And a couple of game balls were given to a couple of soldiers here at practice yesterday. We watched it. We were there, Dave.
Absolutely. And God bless every single one of you, and thank you for everything.
On first down, just looking for breathing room. Barman for a yard as we head downstairs. Jim?
This could be some big news developing on the field. The play before Adam Barman threw that interception, John Cornish came over to the sidelines. He was limping on his left ankle. They looked at it. He tested it a little bit. He's back in the game, but that left ankle is very ginger right now.
He hasn't got it spatted, which is a good sign, Knoxy. Usually if it's a little bit of a difficulty, they'll tape over the shoe and sock and spat it a little bit. So hopefully he just slightly aggravated it.
And he comes into the game second of the Big 12 in rushing. 109 yards a contest. That would be a huge blow if he can't continue. Play fake and pressure. Carricker hits him. It's up for grabs and intercepted. Picked off. Shanley's got it again. He's knocked out of bounds inside the 10. 2 for 2 for Shanley.
Yeah, Shanley is Barman's favorite target. And unfortunately, Barman, his MO tonight was not to put his team in jeopardy and make bad decisions. And Barman has thrown 2 interceptions, and one of them was not the result of pressure, but this one definitely was. Here comes the front 4. McEwen on a blitz. I mean, Carrick or McEwen meet at the quarterback, and Barman never sees the result of this play as he's dumped on his backside, underthrows the football as a result of the pressure, and Shanley almost takes it to the house. Short field for the Cornhusker offense inside the 10-yard line at the 6.
That's the understatement of the year, a short field. So Shanley did not have a pick last year. He's got 2 as Taylor and Clinton chasing him. And a touchdown into the end zone. Wide open Todd Peterson.
Yeah, broken coverage there. And it's a good sign for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. It's called sudden change. And the defense tries to do what they can do to keep them out of the end zone on sudden change. Offensively, you go right for the jugular. And that's exactly what Nebraska did, getting Zach Taylor out of pocket once again. A run fake to the left. He rolls to the right. Kansas responds to it pretty well. Defender falls down in the back corner of the end zone. Receiver wide open, Todd Peterson. Kansas defender falls. An easy toss and catch.
Congdon for the point after. And what a beginning. We're not 5 minutes in the game, and it's getting away from Kansas early. You almost felt bad for, and you had to feel badly for McClinton. Trying to get the quarterback. Didn't get there in time. Peterson with the score. Huskers by 14.
Like a shortstop in baseball. I mean, he fielded that snap that bounced back to him cleanly and executed a perfect punt, knocking it down inside the 5.
Taylor throwing out of his own end zone with time again. And a beautiful one for Purify, the big wide receiver, a transfer from San Francisco City College.
Purify, a great basketball player as well as football player, tremendous athlete. He's got height, he's got length, long arms, he's got a vertical jump, and he's a very, very difficult cover in a one-on-one situation, and that's what he gets, is one-on-one coverage, and he beats it. And he gets to the inside and runs away from people. Just an outstanding route. He beats the true freshman Anthony Webb in man coverage, and Zach Taylor puts it on the Monet.
Marlon Lucky setting up in a split and offset backfield. Hasn't had that many touches so far. Taylor wanted the screen, and he's going back in that direction. Not a bad grab by Lucky, a positive, but it looked like it was going to be a negative. He's got it across the 42. No screen, though.
No, and the pressure from Eric Washington, the linebacker, was key. He was in Zach Taylor's face. Zach Taylor committed a cardinal sin. Throw the ball late, back over to the middle of the football field where there's a lot of traffic, and he got away with it. That's not a high percentage throw for Zach Taylor to make, but when you're completing almost 71 of your passes, you have a lot of confidence in throwing anything, I guess.
Yeah, they set up France, short side of the field. 2 over to the near side, toss it that way. Jackson taking a pop and running right over Eric Washington for a first down. He's down to the 47. Kemp and Wilder caught up with him, but I feel for Washington when he lowered his shoulder.
Absolutely, about 8 yards after contact. And it's just, you got to wrap your arms and get your body through. You can't get your head behind. And that's what happened. You got to get your head in front. And the head's not in front. The head's behind. Runs through the arm tackle. You can't tackle with the arm. You have to get your body in front and run through that running back because they're too good. And I'll tell you what, Brandon Jackson proves it right there.
Lucky back into the game. And on McClinton just a little early.
Well, the hard count by Zach Taylor. You know, the voice inflection. You can't listen to the quarterback when you're a defensive lineman. Watch the ball. Don't move till it moves.
Defense, number 93, offside. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, and Bill Callahan told us earlier this week that he will use all 4 of his backs. He likes all 4 that much. It's not just lip service. He will rotate them in.
He will, and they all bring something different to the table. I mean, Lucky's the home run hitter. He's got that breakaway speed. You know, and you saw some nice power by Brandon Jackson. And to me, the most complete of all of them is Kenny Wilson. I mean, he's got speed, he's got power, he's got it all. We haven't really even seen him involved yet.
Now on a 1st and 5. Looking for none, finding none. And a good play out of the backfield. Breaking tackles for a first down with a flag down. Now blocking downfield the other wide receiver. And let's see if they flag that against Nebraska's Dan Erickson.
Yeah, did he block downfield below the waist? Was it a crackback that was below the waist? You got a legal block in the back. Illegal use of hands. Let's see if it's Erickson Now, if the defender turns his back to you, you know, right before you make contact, it's not an issue. But if he doesn't and you still push him in the back, that might be what happened. But Erickson, trying to help his teammate down the field, may have performed that illegally.
Illegal block in the back. Number 7 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Called it on the other wide receiver, France Hardy, instead.
Well, they're all down the field working hard, and that's Nebraska's known for how well their wide receivers block. Let's take a look at it. Nunn comes in motion across, behind the line of scrimmage, and he's making the move. Here's the illegal block right there, and it's a definite. I mean, it's just an absolute push in the back from behind on Talib. And, yeah, you got to call that because it's right at the point of attack, right at where the play would have been made.
So now it's going to be first down all over, first and short, and the guy who got flagged for it gets it right back. France Hardy, the junior from Miami, who got 25 for them last year, brought down by Eric Washington. And they really have a lot of depth offensively.
They do. They have weapons, and they've got multiple ways that Bill Callahan can go. He's done a great job of recruiting. He and his coaching staff have recruited, and they've recruited a lot of athletes, and that depth is trickling down to special teams as well, not just offensively and defensively.
Cody Glenn, a bull of a back at 6 even, 2:30 in for his first snap. Does he get a touch on first down from the 35? Yes, he will. And dragged down very quickly. That's his first since the game back on September 9th since Nichols State. It'll be Brorson making the stop. What a finish to a first quarter.
Well, there's
the final two.
There's Kansas. They haven't allowed a 100-yard running back in 17 games. That's second longest streak in the nation. I don't know if Virginia Tech gave it up to Georgia Tech today. They lost the football game. I don't know if they gave up a 100-yard rusher, but Kansas is proud of that one.
Well, no gain on the carry. It's going to be 2nd and 10. Little toss after the misdirection to the fullback. And outside, look out. There goes Kenny Wilson. And he's got a first down inside the 15 to the 10. Bumped out by Jerome Kemp.
Well, the key to that was a great block by J.B. Phillips, the tight end, in space. What a job he did down the football field to get Kenny Wilson extra yards. It's almost like a little option, and he's out on the perimeter. And big number 85 in the whites, you saw the player fall to the ground. A lot of cut blocking down the football field. But the big key one was J.B. Phillips, who took his defender to the ground and gave a nice lane for Kenny Wilson to take advantage of. Tremendous downfield blocking.
Guy out of Kansas from the Liberal. Wilson gets it again. Big hole, bangs his way down inside the 5 to the 4. It'll be second down and about 3.5 from there.
Well, let's take a look again to give J.B. Phillips his just due on the rush before this one by Kenny Wilson. Watch number 85 right here. Watch him appear and screen, and watch what he does. Boom. Takes his man right down, and that gives a tremendous lane and an ability to accelerate for Kenny Wilson. And when you get people on the ground, cut them in half, they can't do anything. They're helpless. They cannot make a play.
And Wilson coming off a 106-yard effort last week, his first career 100-yard game. Little indecisive that time, whether he was going to go inside or outside, bounce it out. John Mueller, the tight end, had a seal over on the right side. He tried to go up inside his hip. McClinton and Washington brought him down. 3rd down and short.
Well, this is Nebraska's second opportunity in the red zone. The first one was from the 6-yard line, 1st and goal. They threw a touchdown pass. So now they've been there 23 times. And they have 19 touchdowns. They're approaching 90% conversion. Let's see what they do on this 24th attempt right here, and if they score their 20th touchdown.
From the 4, 3rd and 3. And it's almost picked. Washington read it, dropped the depth with perfect, and they also had to leave there, the corner. Going for none.
Yeah, that was predetermined right there. Zach Taylor locked in on one and was going to go there with the football and threw it into double coverage. He had linebacker underneath, cornerback over the top. So this time, Nebraska has to settle. They don't get the touchdown, their 20th touchdown and their 24th penetration in the red zone. Going to have to settle for the field goal.
It'll be a 21-yard attempt on a drive that started way back at the Nebraska 4. Congdon gets into it. Only a yard more than an extra point try. He has 2 of 3 on his field goal tries this year. And now a 17-0 lead for the Huskers.
Well, their offense is in high gear. There's no question about it. Bill Callahan has a quarterback in Zach Taylor that has got total confidence and command of the West Coast offense. And there's the true freshman, Kerry Meyer, tapping people with the left arm, you notice, as they were coming off the sideline. He's not using that right arm at all. That right shoulder and right arm is the injury to Kerry Meyer. And he wasn't even raising that right arm to pat teammates as they came off the field. He was doing it with his left arm.
Our Dodge scoring drive, and it was a long time-consuming drive. That pass up the middle of Purify got him out of the hole from back in the 4. 92 yards, 11 plays, 4.5 off the clock. And Congdon they had to settle for the field goal.
You know what's happening now at Nebraska, Joel. You have the same offensive coordinator, same head coach, same position coaches for the 3rd year installing this West Coast offense. And for the first time since Eric Crouch was a quarterback here in his Heisman year, they've got the offensive coordinator and quarterback returning for the same year in tandem. I mean, that's amazing. They just didn't have that consistency and continuity. Now they do. The coaches know what to expect from the players know what to expect from the coaches, and they're starting to really, really execute this West Coast offense, everybody on the same page.
Some of the names on the Wall of Honor, you saw Shields and, of course, Eric Crouch. Most recently here in Nebraska. As Congdon punches it into the corner. Herford from the 5. And will they cover it? Yes, they will. Erickson's down there to get him at the 5. The wide receiver.
Well, that was the goal for Nebraska's cover team, to make the return men go east and west. Don't let them get north and south. Make them run to the sideline, east and west. Did they accomplish it that time?
So if it wasn't bad enough for the Jayhawks, they get it back at their own 5. And on the change of possession, they will wind it and start the clock now. So we will come back with the start of the second 15 minutes of play. And a disastrous beginning for the Jayhawks. Celebration, though, in the Sea of Red in Lincoln. They did everything right. Now can Barman and the Jayhawks get it together? Find out. 17-0 Nebraska at the end of 1. We'll return after this word from Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. He's bumped out by Tierra Green, the safety, at a gain of 14.
And Chase Daniel, the quarterback from Missouri, the sophomore, true sophomore, is doing a great job. Look at the numbers again this afternoon. A high percentage for over 250 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's lighting it up with that spread offense. He ran it in high school, and he's very, very comfortable and makes great reads and delivers the football to all quadrants of the field.
Barman on first down. And surveying the field to find Cornish. Boy, all of a sudden, Dave, he's looking more comfortable as he buys some time with good footwork back in the pocket and gets 8 on that ad lib.
Absolutely, Joel. He created a passing opportunity with some elusiveness and escapability in the pocket. His protection was solid to start with, though. The boys up front do a pretty good job of stymieing the front 4. They ran a little bit of a twist. Barman felt pressure from Carrick on the backslide. He was able to slide to his right in the pocket and check down to Cornish. Good job up front. Quarterback showing a good ability to move in the pocket. Cornish making a good catch. That's a nice first down play.
So on a drive that started back at their own 5, Kansas all of a sudden at the 41 of the Huskers. And Barman, plenty of time. All day, in fact, and wide open at the 10. It's the tight end, Fine. He's put down just shy of the goal line of the 1. Derek Fine got behind Grigsby.
And Nebraska bit on the double move, just like Kansas did with Anthony Webb on the 75-yard touchdown. Grigsby's talking it over with his safety. Watch Barman pump fake. Once he pump fakes, there's the break up the football field. The double move out and up, and Grigsby is fooled. Shanley can't get there. Big play.
Tierra Green really bit. The safety on that side of the field, Dave. You can see him take a couple of steps forward. So Cornish in the eye. Kansas trying to complete a 95-yard drive. Short side option, and Cornish slowed down, put down, out of bounds at the 3. Bo Rude with the penetration to the backfield.
Yeah, Bo Rude read that beautifully, and his lateral pursuit was outstanding. There is a penalty flag in the end zone, and let's see what that's all about. It can't be interference because they were running the option. Let's see what's going on in that end zone. Was there too many men on the field?
On the defense, illegal participation, 12 men on defense, half the distance, first down.
That's one way to stop him.
Yeah, you know, load it up. That's how you can stop the option, have that extra man out there. But it is only half the distance to the goal, but they do get an extra down. So now it's 1st and goal with just a skosh to go. Will the Nebraska Cornhusker black shirt defense be able to pull their necks here? Tough duty when you got just a little bit to go.
Fields the only wideout. 2 tight ends set. McAnderson, he's in. Touchdown, Kansas. The fullback didn't have far to go, as you mentioned it. You called it a skosh. It worked.
I'll tell you, it gets Kansas back in the football game when they're backed up like they were. And let's give a credit to a couple of players, Dexton Fields and the quarterback Barman, with that pass that got him, punched him out of bad field position, and the drive's finalized with this. Just a little power run, nothing fancy, just dive over that left side, and the big back Brandon McAnderson pierces the goal line for 6 points for Kansas based on this extra point. Got a man running on late on the extra point team.
Well, fortunately for Kansas, plenty of time on the play clock. They could afford it. Webb for the point after, and he barely got it through. And when I say barely got it through, barely got it up. It was almost blocked. So a 10-point deficit now for the Jayhawks. A confidence builder, a 95-yard drive. And bouncing outside, one of his more effective runs so far. He's got 8 on first down. John Cornish only 5 for 17 before that, so by far his best.
Well, you can see there's more of a bounce in the step of the Kansas Jayhawks on both sides of the football, and I think it's all due to Adam Barman right there. I mean, you talk about a poised kid, unflappable. I mean, the start he had couldn't have been worse. He didn't collapse. He didn't cash his chips in. He went to work. And now his football team's back in the game. That's a leader.
Well, academic all Big 12 last year, Dave. He's a bright young man, so he wasn't going to crumble. He's been in this atmosphere before. He started the last time they were here in Lincoln. They need 2. Cornish cutting it back effectively. He's got a first down into Nebraska territory all the way down to the 45, and he didn't run himself out of the play. Great patience.
It's amazing how things open up in the running game when you throw it like Kansas did on their touchdown drive. And the offensive line doing a pretty good job of sealing, and then a massive cutback lane for Cornish. Cornish has got great vision. He's always got his eyes up, looking down the football field. And get a good look at him, 6 feet, 205 pounds, and a very, very solid, productive, consistent running back for the Jayhawks.
Well, 7 100-yard days. 3 so far this season, including last week with 105. Cornish just sealed over to the right side. Big hole. He's down to the 30. Will they catch him? Well, pushed out of bounds inside the 5, and a different story completely now in Lincoln. 1st and goal, Kansas, after a 41-yard run.
Well, when you have a run like that of over 40 yards, you guys at the line of scrimmage are doing a good job, but watch the receivers down the football field make their blocks and sustain contact. That's a great job at the next level of springing Cornish for more yards. A 14-yard play turns into a 40-yard play because of the effort on the perimeter of the wide receivers. Excellent blocking across the board.
So it's not South Florida, and it was only a 13-7 win. But Kansas tries to get into the end zone. Only 13 against South Florida. Now, look, they put 14 on the board early against Nebraska. Cornish, and that time shut down. Right at the line, Barry Cryer, the senior from Marrero, Louisiana. Big kick.
Well, let's look at Kansas in the red zone. Kansas got in the red zone for that 1-yard touchdown burst, so that was their 17th time. They scored 11 touchdowns, Mark Mangino's men. This is their 18th trip into the red zone. They're converting at almost 70%. Will they be able to score a touchdown here? Don't want to settle for field goal because you're still a full touchdown behind if you do that.
Spread the defense, 3 wide receivers. Barman out of the gun, one to the quarterback draw, lost it, look out, it's covered. Recovered down to the 2-yard line by the Huskers, and coming up with a football, the safety, Tier Green.
Boy, just a fortuitous bounce for Tier Green, and that's the 3rd giveaway of the game for the Jayhawks, and unfortunately they're all Adam Barman. 2 interceptions, now a fumble on the option. And right now, they're -9 on the season. You can't be -9 and expect to compete in the Big 12. You got to take care of the football, and the ball is popped right out of there. McEwen makes the hit, and Barman does not hold it high and hard. He does not have that ball security, and it just takes a nice bounce to the safety, Pierre Green.
So Green comes up with a break for the Huskers, a huge one. Van throwing from deep in his own end zone. Plenty of time for Zach Taylor, and a bullet to Purify. Maurice Purify hangs on. He gets him out of another hole like we saw last time, all the way to the 20 with a flag on the play.
I think they're going to call interference, and Purify caught it anyway. So I think his gain is more than the 15-yard penalty. But boy, Taylor threw it on his back hip. Threw it the only place where he could make a catch on it. So now, okay, was the play longer than the interference? 15, yeah. So take the play.
Play was good for 18.
Purify is so big and strong, and look at the time. Zach Taylor having a cup of coffee, reading the classified ads, and then delivers a ski right to the back hip. And they called the defensive back for riding. You'll tell for riding Purify on that play.
Number 16. That penalty is declined. First down.
Well, in the NFL, we saw Zach Taylor take a shot at the end of the play. The way they're calling it these days on Sundays, that would have been a personal foul for putting the quarterback on his wallet.
No, that's true.
It's crazy these days.
Got to protect those high-paid quarterbacks in the National Football League. Like Jack Lambert said, put skirts on them.
From the 20. First down for the Huskers. Now, can they get him outside? Hard running as it's Kenny Wilson. And only a couple of yards after 22. We check in with Jim Knox. Knox.
All right, Joe, good news for Nebraska fans. France Hardy is okay. They checked out his hand on the bench. It was his left hand. He is on the sidelines. It looks like he'll be back in shortly, guys.
Good news.
That's very good news, because in that West Coast offense, you cannot have enough receivers available to you. And Nebraska is one of the only offenses now in college football that runs the two-back set, and they dot the I, and they run multiple tight ends, and they try to pound you. But tonight, they're using more wide receiver sets, and one back in the backfield, Zach Taylor in the shotgun.
Moving the pocket. Taylor in trouble. And dangerous. He's got him, though. And guess who? It's Hardy. Look out. Down the sideline. No bad hand this time. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Another big play, a 75-yard touchdown, and that one was what? Pushing the same, wasn't it? I mean, two monster plays, the same type of action. Zach Taylor out of pocket, changed the launch point, and Fritz Hardy is just going to stay with him. He's going to run across the field, and Zach Taylor, before he gets blown up, stays with him, and then Fritz Hardy just turns on the jets and takes it inside the pylon for a touchdown. Two huge plays in the passing game for the Cornhuskers.
Point after from Congdon. And talk about a turn of events. The 98-yard drive just a couple of minutes ago looked like Kansas was ready to make it a 3-point deficit. Instead, they are trailing once again by 17. And so much for the injured hand for France Hardy, the junior from Miami. He's down the sideline for 78 yards. Early, it's a deep cover too, and they just want to stay in front of Kansas.
Absolutely, and Kansas does not want to turn the ball over. Coach Cosgrove, the defensive coordinator, is going to play cover 2. I mean, he's going to want to get pressure out of his front 4 and drop 7 into coverage and not give Barman very many windows of opportunity to deliver the ball downfield.
2 timeouts up there for Kansas, just like Nebraska, with 1:20 to play on this now. And wide of 5. It'll be 3rd and about 5.
And boy, circle the play. You know, don't want to pick on Fine. It's very unfortunate. Everybody has, you know, plays that don't work out. But if Derek Fine can catch that potential touchdown pass, they've got a touch. It's a different football game. It's 24-14 instead of the very next play. Barman throws the interception as he's trying to throw a fade to the back corner of the end zone, and that's it. You know, sometimes you don't realize incompletions sometimes are more than incompletions. They're potential touchdowns that are dropped.
So 3rd down. still looking for their first conversion, like Nebraska, and it's there. Fine holds on this time. He'll get to the sideline, and good yardage as he pushes it all the way inside the 47. So they're finally converting on a third down. 1 for 6 with that one.
And here's a look at it. It starts with good protection. The Cornhuskers rushing 4, dropping 7 into coverage. Everybody's picked up, and the tight end makes himself available on the drag route and gets some yards after catch. Good execution all the way around. Get out of bounds to boot to stop the clock.
Yeah, Barman also has a miscue. Don't forget about his fumble inside the 5.
That was huge.
It was 3rd and 3 at the 4-yard line, and he coughed it up. Otherwise, they'd have at least 3 out of that one.
Yep, exactly.
Nick Anderson on first down to the backfield. It was a gain of 18 on the catch and run by Derek Fine, the tight end. They're inside the Nebraska 47. Good pocket protection on the sideline behind Dominic Ruth. First time they've gone for the senior from Los Angeles.
You know, it's just like last week. When you're playing a top 20 team at their venue, you can't put yourself on your schedule. I mean, you cannot self-destruct. You can't turn it over. You can't drop touchdown opportunities. You have to bring your A game. And right now, Kansas has not brought their A game because they've had too many miscues. They haven't taken advantage of all opportunities, and Coach Mangino is fully aware of that.
Now on 2nd and 10. Working the sideline is Murph. He's got 5. It'll be 3rd and 5. They're not there in field goal territory yet. In fact, their place kicker, Scott Webb, he's 2 for 4 for the season. His best, a 42-yarder. So he's not had that many tries. Last year, though, he was successful on 14 of 19.
And there's still a minute to go. You still have plenty of time. Time's not the issue. Execution is. And that's been the issue for Kansas all night long.
Well, after that completion, Barman, 9 of 19, 153 yards, but 3 big interceptions. Plus the fumble he committed. So that's 4 giveaways.
Started off 0 for 6. So he's 9 for his last 13.
Blitz up the middle. Nobody got the linebacker. He finds his wide receiver, Fields, and he stepped out of bounds. That's a break. That saves a timeout at the 31. But he's trying to break the tackle. Tierre Green slowed him down.
Well, McEwen came clean, and that's a mistake in protection. You have to protect the quarterback from the inside out, and McEwen doesn't get touched. And that's the straightest, the quickest spot to the quarterback is a straight line. You have to block down and let the outside rush guys go free, but that's a nice job by Barman. That's the hottest of hot reads. You got to get rid of the ball now, and he did for positive yards for the big fella Fields.
Can they get points before they go to the locker room? Pocket holding up well. Barman on the deep crossing pattern. Wide of Fields. Fields from one side to the other, but it was late on the throw.
Now, I do like the competitive spirit of Barman. I mean, he showed some resiliency. I mean, he faced adversity. You kidding me? His first 6 passes, he had 2 interceptions. One of them was a short field. You know, back to the 6-yard line, and Nebraska scores in a play. And he just kept his nose to the grindstone, kept sawing wood, and tell you what, he's a very, very tough competitor.
Well, there's the injured Kerry Meyer, the redshirt freshman out of Pittsburgh, Kansas. 2nd consecutive start for the senior. Adam Barman. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Here comes the blitz. Backing off now. Probably rush 4.
That's what they do with a twist up front. And over the middle, it's available. And another first down. It's taken in by Fields again. The big target inside the 15. He pulled it up in front of the safety, Tierre Green, and we will get a timeout with 40 seconds to play and 1 still on the board for Kansas.
I'll tell you, Barman is going to a very fertile Fields right now. I mean, that's his favorite target, and he's hitting him time and time again. And he does present himself as a very big target. And those double 8s are very, very huge. He comes across the middle of the football field and works himself in front of the safety, Green, that time. Got position and made a great catch.
Well, last year it was in Lawrence, Kansas, as Nebraska and Kansas met for the 100th consecutive time. Huskers went in a 36-game winning streak over the Jayhawks. The Jayhawks, 428 yards of total offense. Jason Swanson connecting with Mark Simmons a couple of times. And the young man we're watching tonight who's been very effective, John Cornish. He had 101 yards on the ground. 40 points scored, the most ever for Kansas against Nebraska, beating them for the first time since 1968. Dave, they come in tonight trying to beat them for the first time ever in back-to-back games since the 67 and 68 seasons.
And they've lost 18 straight here at Memorial Stadium, and Cornish almost got 100 yards rushing already, 94. Now that 72-yard touchdown run that we saw came when Kansas only had a 2-point lead, and Cornish got the game back in control for Kansas. It was a very, very critical big play by Cornish last year.
Trips on the wide side of the field for Barman. Little slip screen, and it was thrown. It's picked up by McEwen going the other way.
Forward
and I
pass.
thought it was a forward pass all the way, and it will be brought back. It's an incomplete forward pass. It'll be 3rd and 10, make it 2nd and 10 coming up for the Jayhawks with 34 seconds to play.
McEwen, you gotta follow through though. You gotta make a play on it. You gotta make sure. Let's see, is the ball? It's a forward pass by about a half a yard. McEwen, no, that's heads up. Pick it up and run.
I love this crowd, though. This crowd is so into it. What a great reaction to the background when they showed it on their big screen here in Lincoln.
And Coach Callahan, I don't know if he's going to challenge it or not. I think he's talking about challenging it on the sideline, the fact that it was a forward pass or not.
Save it.
He had it. He's bringing the official over, the referee, to talk about it. And he's saying, was that forward or not?
Coach gets only one challenge a game.
And you have to have timeouts, which he does. You have to have timeouts to utilize, and he's got 2 of them. Well, he's talking it over.
3rd year here at Lincoln for Bill Callahan, and it's starting to take shape.
And he's saying, look where the ball is, not where the quarterback's body was. Look where the football was thrown from.
It looked up here, and we have a pretty good angle, about 18 stories up. It looked like it was certainly a forward pass.
Well, let's see the yard line the ball's released from. The ball is released from this yard line right here, from the whatever it is. The 16-yard line, and okay, is it caught at the? It's pretty darn close, Joel. I mean, he's going vertical at the 17-yard line. I think there's a case for that being a backward pass. When he went airborne and touched the ball was touched at the 17-yard line, and the ball was released from the 16-yard line. That's what Coach Callahan's talking about. From where the ball is released and where it's touched, was it forward or backward? And it's being, I wonder if it's being looked at up top. Every play is looked at.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete forward pass. That is not reviewable.
It's not reviewable anyway.
Greg Burks, emphatic, and a good official in the Big 12.
Well, by rule, it's not reviewable. So there's, good call or not, good call, bad call, it can't be reviewed. The fact is, I think Coach Callahan had a pretty good argument. The ball was released from inside the 17-yard line. It was touched behind the 17-yard line.
Well, what you want to do is really get this crowd back into the game, don't you?
Well, I mean, rules are rules.
So now it's going to be 2nd and 10. It's at the Nebraska 13-yard line.
Now the fans are going to really make a lot of noise in the red zone.
The Jayhawks have picked it up considerably offensively, but they're their own worst enemy now with the turnovers. Blitz timed well in the end zone. Fine can't hold on again. He was distracted by Shanley, but it was right there. Boy, the blitz came too from Bo Ruud.
Yeah, it's funny how the football seems to find you when you're struggling a little bit. Fine made a great catch earlier in this drive to continue the drive. Bo Ruud makes the hit, and the ball is right between his arms into the breadbasket. And boy, you just got to squeeze the pig on that one. And Bo Ruud comes clean and makes the big hit on Barman. And Barman throws a very good ball. And Fine really could have 2 touchdown catches in his column right now, and he doesn't have any.
So 3rd and 10. Ball still at the 13. They back off on the blitz. Now Barman. And Ruud will take care of him. It'll be a sack. He lost a yard. Back at the 14.
That was a rude welcome right there by the linebacker. Barman, that's not Barman's game. Barman's game is to not tuck it and run. Barman's game is to throw the football. Barman's not a speedster. And Bo Ruud had a little zone blitz. He dropped off in the coverage, then he recovered when he saw Barman taking it up the middle and met him very, very violently.
So Kansas let the clock roll down to 3 seconds. And what a career Bo's brother Barrett had here at Nebraska, as he's been in on the last 2 snaps.
As did his dad, Tom.
Yes.
It started with his dad, who I played with the Bengals. And an unfortunate tragedy is Ruud's mom during the summer on vacation, 52 years old, a very, very sad thing. She had a heart attack and passed away, and very, very tough on the family. And it's just, you talk about adversity. Football adversity is minor compared to that type of adversity in life, and that's a very, very tough adjustment. Anybody, when you lose your mom. Bo Ruud to lose his mom when she's that young and he's this young, that's just tough to deal with.
Feel cheated.
No question. No question about it. I mean, that's the hardest fact of life is death. It's a tough thing to deal with, for sure.
So Kansas will try to get 3 before they go to the locker room. 3 on the board. 3 seconds to play. And go to the locker room down by 14. Could be a lot worse with all the mistakes they've made. Webb will try a 31-yard field goal attempt. And it's going to be a timeout coming up
freeze them
for
a little
Nebraska.
Bit. Get them a little chilly. Use them all.
Well, in last year's game, don't forget it was Kansas that had a block of a punt on Nebraska. So their special teams came into play. Well, Barman has had his problems. He's hung in there tough.
He has, but this interception was a tough one, and then from his own end zone just kind of throws it up for grabs, and Shanley comes up with the first 2 interceptions, and that was at the 6-yard line. Here he is trying to run the option. McEwen strips him of the football, and Tyree Green falls on top of it. So 3 turnovers right there from Adam Barman, and there's been 4 in the game. He's got 3 interceptions in the fumble. He's saddled with 4 turnovers right there.
But as we mentioned, he's also had 2 touchdowns dropped.
He has, and he's led them, you know, on a touchdown drive. He has showed resiliency, toughness. You know, he's unflappable. He's shown a lot of poise, and he's shown Kerry Meyer he's got a beaten up left hand.
And Kerry's older brother we saw at K-State last week, the starter for the Wildcats.
And that's Kerry Meyer's problem, is 7 interceptions.
And what a story that family has. With everybody playing football. His brother Shad, of course, who played for Kansas State, and his other brother who played at Pittsburgh State in Kansas. What a family legacy.
It really is a football family. It's the first family of the state of Kansas, I think, in football.
So another timeout has been called.
Coach Callahan just, he's the old gamesmanship. You know, all these points are critical, and I'm saying not again. I got to go through my whole routine again. He looks over at Coach Callahan and says, why?
And smart play. They don't carry. You can't carry him over to the second half.
Yeah, and every point is critical. I mean, you know, you look at this football game and the change in momentum that's occurred due to big plays. You just never know. And Coach Callahan says, you know what? This is the conference opener. Every play is huge, and Coach Mangino thinks the same thing. And they really, the biggest thing Kansas didn't want to do was self-destruct, and they thought Barman gave him the best chance of not self-destructing, and it hasn't worked out that way. But in fairness to Barman, you know, he's saddled with the 4 turnovers. His tight ends dropped a couple of touchdown passes as well. They just haven't executed well enough as a team.
Coming up at the half, Mike Goldberg, Billy Ray Smith, and DeMarco Farr. They'll be there. A few seconds away. We just saw Bill Callahan on the sideline. A lot of times when a guy comes from the NFL to the college ranks, so the conversation is, you think the first offer could go back. I think this guy loves where he's at right now. I don't think he'd leave for anything.
And I think he's going to do a big-time job here at Nebraska. His recruiting has been phenomenal.
Now Webb. Final snap, it should be, of the half. The 31-yard attempt on its way. And a pick-me-up for Kansas going into the locker room. Dave, it could be a lot worse than 14.
Great job by Jonathan Lamb, the holder. That was a high snap that Lamb did a great job with.
Let's head downstairs and join Jim Knox. Knoxy.
All right, Joe, thank you. Coach, you got to be pleased, especially the way your defense is playing. 4 big turnovers, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery, and that was close to the goal line.
And no question, we're still giving up some big plays, but I'm really pleased with the way we started. And Kansas are a tough team. They've shown some resiliency to come back, so it's going to be a good second half.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, Knoxy. So a 24-10 lead for the Cornhuskers at home in their conference opener with the Kansas Jayhawks.
From multiple sclerosis.
Plays for Nebraska, but too many turnovers for Kansas.
Yeah, it was self-destruction for Kansas. I mean, they beat themselves as much as Nebraska did, because when you look at these plays, two freshman corner bites in the double move. Terrence Nunn's off to the races. 75-yard touchdown. Then Hardy gets into the fray here. He goes 78 for a touchdown. Nice job by him presenting himself on the scramble drill to his quarterback. And Derek Fine, the tight end, a la Jackie Smith in the Super Bowl, wide open across the middle of the field, drops down and drops his second touchdown opportunity. So it's a case of Kansas not taking advantage of opportunities presented to themselves and then turning the ball over 4 times. They're -3 in that department. Neither team doing a very good job on third down. But as Joel mentioned, it's a game of turnovers, big plays, and red zone execution. Nebraska has been better in all 3 categories.
Stranger than fiction how many in first half numbers. Who would have believed it? I mean, to go down early 17-0, hot into the counter early. Fortunately, the temperature is dropping on the outside for Mark Mangino and the Jayhawks. Jim Knox, what's the latest?
All right, just got through talking to Coach Mangino, who said they just got to stay poised here in the second half. Really pleased on how his team moved the football, but the turnovers, he said, that was absolutely ridiculous. Take away those turnovers, guys, and you mentioned it, they'll be right in this thing. He says stay poised in the second half, and they will move the football here in the second half. We'll see if it's going to be a good one, guys.
Execution, 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 Noxie.
They're going to keep it on the ground. Man, it's going to be taken by McAnderson, the fullback, and does a good job to cruise his way across the 30. As Kansas is going to have it right around the 35. And Ben Eisenhart, the defensive back, bringing down McAnderson. Brandon, the junior from Lawrence. So now let's see if Kansas can gain any mo out of the locker room. They got it right before they went to the halftime break. They got 3 points from Scott Webb on a 31-yard field goal. But this is stranger than fiction. I mean, this is not quite Ripley's, believe it or not, but a little bit of everything.
Well, they had more first downs than Nebraska, more yards rushing than Nebraska, but they're down 14 points because of the turnovers.
Cornish, he was close to 100 yards, had 94 in the first half to make it 97 now, second in the Big 12 with 109 yards a game coming in, but he was underutilized in the second quarter. Pryor put him.
Very talented football player, and his eyes are as good as any running backs that I've seen. I mean, he can really look for those cutback lanes and take advantage of them every time. And if the cutback lane's not there, it's not there at the point of attack, he'll bounce it. He'll bounce to the outside, and he's got the speed and quickness to do it all.
Well, the second half has been dominated, but don't forget that's a non-conference schedule for the Huskers. Now it's Big 12 opposition. Cornish on the delay and making the most of it and doing almost all of it on his own. Designed again to go one way, cut it back the other way, and got it up near the 42-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 3.
Anthony Collins slow to get up, and a lot of times linemen get hurt by that very type of play. He's doing a good job of sustaining a block down the field, and they run up the back of his legs. And you're unknowingly, you get yourself in a tough spot. But boy, the offensive line did a good job of sustaining contact on their blocks there, giving Cornish an opportunity to finish.
So now it's going to be 3rd and less than 3. Big play early for the Jayhawks if they're going to get back into it right away. And well timed. The big guy almost went back to get it, Barry Pryor.
He did.
He read it well.
It's like a volleyball player, like a middle hitter at the net, knocking it airborne, almost knocked it to himself.
That looked like a 40-ounce prime rib to him.
Yeah, his eyes get big. And Cryer said, you know, when you're not going to get to the quarterback, get your hands up and get in the passing lane. And Cryer said, out of my way, big fella. I want to get after that ball. Anthony Collins just big obstacle in his path.
He looked like a good setter in volleyball the way he pushed it up into the air. Now waiting, Courtney Grigsby, the defensive back, with a Kyle Tucker punt. They had none back there who did a good job. This is the first try for Grigsby. And he will bring it back inside his own 10. From the 6, gets it out to the 15. That's where Nebraska's going to have it for the first time offensively in the 3rd. We talked about it right before we broke away. It was kind of an uneven first half for Zach Taylor. The big play, 78-yard touchdown to Nunn, 75-yarder to Hardy. But overall, kind of different first half for Zach Taylor. He's been spoiling everybody with his consistency at 71% coming in.
Yeah, he's 21% under his normal game. But with that said, when you get a 78-yard touchdown pass, a 75-yard touchdown pass, the key is putting the ball in the end zone and generating big plays offensively. He certainly was up to the challenge there.
They got to get Lucky going. Maybe even put on some Henry Mancini theme from Mr. Lucky. Marlon Lucky will get going. Still, boy, give credit to Jayhawks. Front 7, though. Coming off the edge, the end that time got to him. And a good play at that. So it was Larson who put him down.
Well, coming in, Kansas was only giving up 2.9 yards per rush. I mean, they were pretty good against the run this year, just like they were last year. And remember, they've gone 17 straight games without giving up 100 yards rushing to any individual running back. That's second longest in college football behind Virginia Tech. Will it continue?
It'll be 2nd and 8 from the 17. And will they ever get the tight ends involved? Taylor on his way down, lost the football. Kansas, I believe, covered it. Let's see if they got it back inside the 10. I think they stripped it away and took it away.
Well, Bjorson got the hit. Yeah, Bjorson stripped the football.
And it's Joe Mortensen coming up with the football. The outside backer from Concord, California.
The play was made by Bjorson from the backside. Zach Taylor had his head turned to the left, and it's his front side as a right-handed quarterback, but it turned into his backside as he's looking away. And Bjorson comes from behind. Here he comes on the edge. 81 strips it out of there. Tomahawk chop, ball's on the ground. And Joe Mortensen comes up with it. A big, big takeaway for the Jayhawks. Now it's a 2-turnover differential in favor of Nebraska and a short field for the Jayhawks like Nebraska had.
They start with it inside the Nebraska 10. Wide side option. Cornish breaks the containment. He's in. Touchdown, Kansas. Brand new ball game.
Yes, it is. Kansas creating opportunities and taking advantage of them instead of self-destructing.
Who would have believed this when it was 17-0? No one in this crowd of better than 85,000.
You have to tip your cap to the Jayhawks. And Coach Callahan talked about it going into the game, going into the locker room at halftime. He said, Kansas is a tough team. You know, we'll see what happens in the second half. They've taken on the personality of Mark Mangino, who's a tough-minded football coach. He's got a team that's the same.
Bad snap, high one. And, well, they can get two of this the other way, and there goes the other way. It's Rude with the football, and he goes down. So Bo Rude almost got two going the other way. After the highest snap got away from the holder, Jonathan Lamb, the wide receiver.
And Brandon McAnderson made the two-point conversion saving tackle. And, boy, if Rude had the presence of mind to lateral it, he had a teammate there. Here's the option. Down the line comes Barman. How do you let corners go on the pitch like that, untouched inside the pylon? Amazing.
Eric Washington.
Well, Joel, what they're going to do is they will probably tape his helmet. They will not take any chances. They will immobilize him and basically tape him to the board and take him off on a stretcher. And you don't want to move the person that may have sustained an injury, because you can, if there is an injury, you can do further damage. So it's just a matter of immobilizing and taking him off the field. Mark Mangino's face kind of tells it all.
It is without a doubt.
It's tough.
Yeah, the most helpless feeling we all have whenever we watch college football.
And, you know, even rolling him over can be a dubious thing. And you have to err on the side of caution, big-time caution. You have to do everything you possibly can to make sure that Eric Washington stays as immobilized and as motionless as possible. This is extremely unfortunate. And then what has to happen is, you know, the players on both teams are praying right now as a group. They're going to have to line right up and get after it again. And, you know, I've been on the field when these kind of things take place, and the thoughts that are going through your head are just diametrically opposed, you know, and you have to clear your head of things that you're thinking right now and get out there and play the sport again at an up-tempo and, you know, be physical again. And sometimes, you know, boy, you have to have amnesia, you know.
That's a good point, though. Here you are, you're saying prayers right now for Eric Washington.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, your mindset has to be the opposite again.
Absolutely. You have to go from, you know, north to south pole basically in your mental approach. And this is a player's worst fear. The worst fear of any player that plays football is, you know, potential neck or back injury. And hopefully that's not the case for Eric Washington. And as you look at everybody's expressions on the football field, coaches, players alike, it's something you hate to have to see.
As you mentioned, though, you don't care how long it takes.
Right.
You want to make sure that he
safety.
is totally
Right.
immobilized.
Yep. And, you know, when you look at this game, the size and speed on these artificial surfaces, the amount of impact that's generated when contact is made, it's, you know, every snap you're rolling the dice that something like this doesn't occur. And you want to just make sure that, you know, you try to keep your technique as good as you possibly can every snap.
We'll come right back to Lincoln, Nebraska. That is not going to be as severe as it appears right now.
Yeah.
For those of you that did not see it a few minutes ago.
Well, he's number 33 in the white jersey here coming across, and he hits with the top of his helmet as he tries to make the tackle on Lucky. Instead of getting his head up and hitting with his face mask, he hits with the top of his helmet and knocks his head into his neck. He just kind of, you know, compresses his neck. And you can see his arms are kind of flailing. Ugh, I just hate seeing that. And right now he's traumatized. It's just a matter of what kind of trauma he's experiencing, and hopefully, in our thoughts and prayers with he and his family, it's not severe trauma. Sometimes it can be temporary and all the feeling comes back, but you know, it's almost like a pinched nerve sensation. Hopefully it's nothing more than that, and let's just hope and pray for the absolute best for Eric Washington and his family. You know, what you hope to see as players are leaving the field in this situation is like a thumbs up or some kind of signal, some kind of movement, and that's what his teammates and opponents are both looking for. And you can see he is definitely immobilized and totally strapped in, the helmet still on, and they handled it very, very well. It's a tough situation to be sure.
Well, through the highs and the lows of a college football season, for these participants, this puts everything into perspective. And it's all about the safety and the health of these graduates or these college students.
Ugh, it's just
the worst.
Yeah, it's the absolute worst.
worst.
But he is, you can see he's conscious. You can see him, he was moving his lips and speaking to people. He never lost consciousness, I don't believe. And hopefully hopefully he'll be okay. And now, like we said, you have to go back out in the football field, line up, and get after each other again. That's just that's the irony of this game. That's what it is.
And you can see that Eric is conversing.
Yeah, he's responsive, absolutely.
That's a great sign.
I just wish he'd move one of those hands or something.
And as soon as we know something on FSN, you will. We promise you that. Yeah, as you said, now we have to go back to the order of business.
Yep.
So while you've still got that lump, your heart's in your throat. Now it's back to business, and it's a 2nd and 5 for Nebraska, their own 25. Lucky, he's got about 4 up to the 29. I think it's going to take a while for this entire 85,000 to get back into the flow of things.
Oh, no question about it. And this is an area that Nebraska struggled in the first half. Is 3rd down, Joel. They were 0 for 5 in the first half. This is a 3rd and 1. This is a 3rd and makeable that you have to figure out a way to get done if you want to expand on an 8-point lead. It's a 1-score game now. This is a football game for sure.
Man, they were 4th in the nation on 3rd downs, coming in at 57%. Big hole. And making his way, Cody Glenn. He's her power back out of the eye back. He's 6', even 230, 35 pounds. So he is a bull.
Well, you have multiple tight ends for Nebraska in this formation. And watch the big boys here on the edge get it done. Nice block, nice lead block by the fullback, and then break a tackle, extra yards. Boy, everything was done well right there, and just a tremendous lead block by Dane Todd, who's a 4.0 student, and one heck of a fullback as well, right there.
2-time first-team academic All-Big 12. That's Glenn again. He's slicing his way for about another 4 up to the 44. This drive started at the Nebraska 20, and they're lucky it started at the 20. It almost was a safety, as Kenny Wilson was right on the line.
Yes, he was.
Indecision about coming out. First down marker All brought to you by Overstock.com with live customer service and an online best price guarantee. Shopping online has never been easier. Overstock.com. Now the Huskers keep it on the ground. Cody Glenn just what the doctor ordered. They had not been able to really sustain a ground game. They were throwing the football for most of their yards, Dave, in the first half. And now Glenn picked me up off the bench, the sophomore from Rusk, Texas.
And one clarification on the rule coming out of the end zone. Going in to score, you just have to break the very front of the plane of the goal line. Bringing the ball out on a return, you have to get it entirely out of the end zone. That's why the call was made for a touchback. And here's good blocking up front once again. And you have a running back, Cody Glenn, that's got confidence.
And it continues. He's close to a first down. He's shy of having a yard. A little more than a yard. So it's going to be 3rd and short as he's brought down by Joe Mortensen.
Well, what Bill Callahan's saying is this is a wild and woolly game right now. Let's go back to the ground. We can run the ball. We can throw the ball. Let's run the ball and get our feet back on the ground and knock a little bit of the confidence and momentum out of Kansas that they've generated. Take some time off the clock and get a 2-score lead in this game and reestablish ourselves.
4 tight ends on the field. Phillips slides. And it'll be Glenn. As he lost it on his way down, Kansas gets the football. Kansas has it at their own 39.
Wow.
Talib is at the bottom of the pile, I believe. And it will be. Talib recovered at the cornerback.
And Glenn, trying to huck and buck for extra yards, coughs up the football.
Quarterback had to really stretch and get it out there, almost like he missed the handoff.
Well, that's the outside zone with all those tight ends, and that's just a good hit right on the football by Wright, the linebacker, and lost control of it, and Kansas comes up with it. Now it's a 1 turnover differential. The Huskers have 3 fumbles that they've lost. Kansas has thrown 3 interceptions and lost a fumble. 7 turnovers in this football game.
Cornish, the single back. Waiting for anything, and it doesn't open up as he's dropped after a gain of about a yard up to the 40. Let's head downstairs for an injury update. Jim Knox.
Okay, Joel, here's the latest on Eric Washington. They just took him through the tunnel, and he's now on an ambulance going to a local hospital. He is responding, but unable to move his arms or legs. They have him taped to a gurney, but right now they're taking him to a local hospital. As soon as we hear something, we will pass it on to you guys.
Oh, man, Knoxie, that is so sad. Hopefully that'll subside.
As we said, hopefully it's temporary. Flags on the play. It looked like the left side of the offensive line started to come up. Cesar Rodriguez. Let's see.
Yeah, was Nebraska drawn or did they jump? Was it voice inflection, listening to the quarterback and not watching the football? Or did somebody bring him into that neutral zone?
Defense, offsides, number 54, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Daganduro, the underneath tackle. Watch the center on this one.
Well, you know, he's the defensive tackle, and the center is looking at the quarterback in the shotgun. He's locating the quarterback, then he's going to bring his head up so he can see where the lineman is to snap the football. That happens every snap. Daganduro's the only one that didn't move. Everybody else jumped. I don't know why they nailed him.
So now it's going to be 2nd and 4. Barman out of the gun on a shovel, and it's incomplete. It's a pass because it's a shovel pitch to Cornish. And he couldn't get out of the backfield to even get close to it. They tied him up. It's almost like when the tight end blocks down, Dave, and tries to escape.
Yeah. Well, this is, you know, it's almost like I don't want to capture momentum of the game. You take it. I mean, it's like a hot potato. Nobody wants to take control of the football game and maintain it. It's like back and forth we go, and it's not necessarily by positive, it's by negative. It's by missed opportunities and turnovers.
Yeah, 4 turnovers for Kansas, 3 now for Nebraska. A little twist up front. Barman needs 4. He's got it. Fields, his top receiver, as he caught it just across the midfield stripe. He had 4 for 74 in the first half. Not a big gain, but enough for the first down.
This ball was in the air for a long time because he threw from the left hash mark to the right sideline. And it's like a 4-man rush, and that ball is up there, up there, up there. And I think all you have to do is have 1 foot in bounds with possession, and he's got it. Left foot in bounds with possession, steps out with the right. That's a catch in college football.
So what you're saying is that pass was a real bullet. Almost end over end.
Nebraska couldn't close on it, though.
Cornish bending it to the boundary. Gets a kick-out block for the wide receiver. And he's got a first down to the 35. What a block by Fields. Good play outside. 14 on the game.
I'll tell you, the wide receivers in this football game, Joel, for both teams have done a tremendous job on the perimeter of enabling plays to become bigger plays. And Cornish has got deceptive speed. I mean, he runs in the 4.4s, and he's got, he'll thump you when he needs to. This guy is a very, very talented running back. And the thing I like about him, you saw it on that play, is very calm, patient, eyes down the football field. He's never in a hurry. He lets it all develop.
Started at the Jayhawks 39. They've got it at the Huskers 34. Long count this time by Barman. Buying time on the play fake. And to the boundary.
Wow.
What a grab. What a catch by Fields. Complete for the first down to the 16. Spectacular.
There were 2 Nebraska defenders in the area. Grigsby and also Green that could have made a play on the ball. And neither one made a play on the ball. They're both there. I thought, why is he throwing into double coverage? And neither player makes an attempt on the football. And it ends up being a great catch by Fields. There were 2, not just corner and safety that were there. It was a perfect call, but neither defensive back reacted or found the football.
Yeah, and then Fields looked like a contortionist on the sideline.
Gumby.
Now, wide side option. Cornish stops on a dime, otherwise he loses 5 because they had it. And Stuart Bradley in particular turned it in. They cleaned up. McEwen came over. Still a loss of about a yard or 2.
Well, here's the most important penetration of the red zone of the game for Kansas, because they had 4 in the first half and they turned it over twice. They threw a fade in the end zone that was intercepted, and then Barman ran the option and fumbled the football. So Barman had 2 red zone turnovers. You can't turn it over. You can't take a sack as a quarterback in the red zone. Huge red zone opportunity here. Got to get points out of it. Cannot turn it over.
It'll be second and about 12. Pocket holding it up for Barman. He's got plenty of time. And, well, Lamb turns in. He goes out. Backer on that side, strong side backer, found himself covering the wide receiver. That was Bradley.
Yeah, Bradley. And I think Barman just threw that one away. He said, I'm not turning it over again in the red zone. I'm not taking a sack. I'm going to throw it to my girlfriend over there in the cheerleading squad.
A little gun shy.
I think, it's like, I'm going to make sure that this thing is not a turnover. I'm going to live for 3rd down. There's nothing for me on 2nd down. Throw it away. And he did.
So a huge 3rd down. And don't forget, there wasn't a clean exchange on the last placement, the extra point for Kansas. So they've got to go for a field goal. 3rd and a dozen. And a timeout was called. Timeout. McAnderson very alertly, the fullback, in case they didn't get it, fell on it. How bizarre has this game been?
It's been crazy.
It's not Halloween yet, is it?
I mean, a roller coaster extraordinaire. It's like the biggest roller coaster in the country is right here tonight. And this is kind of like the summation. Call timeout, snap it anyway. What the heck? If you can execute this field goal, and that's not a given, as you described, Joel, they couldn't execute on an extra point. So not only the kicker, snapper, holder has to be good. There are 3 phases: snap, hold, kick. And then, of course, the protection has to be sound. So you take nothing for granted, but if they can drill this, it's a 1-score football game.
So Webb, he's got a 35-yard attempt. Can he get it back within 5 on its way? And he pushed it. He got it.
Yeah.
He got it inside. It looked like it slipped outside the upright. It is good. He got it inside. Boy, off the foot. I thought maybe he had pushed it.
Boy, he hits that thing, and is it going to go over the top of the goalpost?
Wait a minute. Okay.
Well, the official's right under the goalpost.
It's a good call. It was just inside.
Yeah. Just hooked it back in there.
So Scott Webb with a 35-yarder. Everything's been that way in this game with 5:47 to play, and now only a 5-point lead for the Huskers as they led by as many as 17.
Well, Mark Mantino has to be proud.
All-time leading rusher Mike Rozier for the Cornhuskers, playing from 81 to 83. Gained almost 4,800 yards in a senior season. School record 21-48, 29 touchdowns as he captured the 83 Heisman Trophy. And it was November 12th, 1983. 285 yards against the Jayhawks, a career high for Rozier. And, of course, in the College Football Hall of Fame on December 5th, as he is going to become the 13th Husker to be enshrined to the College Football Hall of Fame. So congratulations. What a back he was on Sundays as well.
He was, and he was out of New Jersey. He was part of that New Jersey pipeline. And just a phenomenal career at Nebraska. Big time.
Brandon Jackson, Kenny Wilson. I think Kenny Wilson, if it goes into the end zone, he may stay there this time. He's over to the far side. Jackson over to the near side. As Scott Webb is ready to get into it.
Remember, on that play, the entire ball has to come past the front of the white line on the goal line. Not part of it, the entire ball.
So Webb now, 31-yard field goal. Last one, that 35-yarder just inside the upright. Jackson's going to bring it back from the 5. And runs into Shanley. That'll slow you down. He gets it back to the 20, though, as he ran into Shanley, who's already got 2 interceptions in this game. Well, next week, College Football Saturday returns. It's a twin bill. It all starts with Texas A&M taking on the Kansas Jayhawks. And then Washington trying to pull off another upset, matching up with the number 2 USC Trojans. It all starts next Saturday at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific. College Football Saturday kickoff show, all presented by Kyocera on FSN.
Now, all of a sudden, Nebraska has turnover-itis. Can they hold on to the football and sustain a drive? They got multiple tight ends in this game, too.
On first down, sliding through is Marlon Lucky across the 25. That may be his longest run of the night, 7 yards. It has been that tough for Lucky, 8 for 21 before that.
Why he's tapping his helmet is he's trying to get the rubber particular out of his ear hole. On this field turf, you have little particles of rubber that'll bounce up, and that's what he was trying to make sure that he get out of his ear and out of his helmet.
You know, this Nebraska offense, don't forget they came in second in the nation in scoring, 6th in total offense at 472 yards a game. Most of their offense in the first half came through the air, very little on the ground. Lucky trying to find something. Boy, the indecision cost him. He started left, run over right. He stopped at the 28. He's short of the first down by a couple, pushed back by Wayne Wilder. At our eHarmony.com trivia, 113th meeting between Kansas and Nebraska. What 2 teams have met the most times? This is the longest uninterrupted series, though. This is the 101st consecutive time these 2 teams have gotten together.
113 meetings, and it's not the most. Give you a hint, it's not in the Big 12 Conference, the teams that have played the most.
Did anybody tell you we needed hints?
Oh, my bad.
3rd and a couple. And a low throw to Hardy.
Wow.
Very low. That was just rushed, wasn't it? We've seen that before.
Yeah, he didn't really need to get rid of the ball that quickly. And just for whatever reason, the passing game not in tremendous sync tonight. Like we said, coming into the game, Zach Taylor had been completing almost 71% of his passes. The first half it was 50%. And now Kansas 1, 2, 3 and out. They get the football back with decent field position, down by 5.
You're looking at the Big 12's punt return leader. He averages better than 20 per return. That's Brian Murph. Waiting for the Titchener punt. The wobbler is going to be taken by Murph with a fair catch back at the 25. So Kansas, with momentum, now looks for their first lead of the game. Who would have believed we'd even say that? It's down 17-0.
It shows you the resiliency and toughness of this football team. And the answer on this one is the Big Ten. I think it's Minnesota, Wisconsin.
You think?
115 times, isn't it? Yeah.
115.
And then number 2 is Kansas, Missouri at 114 times. So Kansas involved in 2 of the top 3 number of times played in Division I-A history.
Yeah, and Mizzou would like to forget about the last 3.
Yeah, exactly.
John Cornish is the single. It's at the 25 in a hard-to-believe turn of events.
And look, spreading Nebraska out. 2 receivers on each side of the formation. Spread them out.
Short side Cornish and Bradley from behind. What a job of the strong side backer out of Salt Lake City. Time for a Dr. Pepper game break. Let's head to the studio now. Mike Goldberg, what's the latest, Mike?
Hey, Joel, number 1 Ohio State at number 13 Iowa. Troy Smith, second and goal. Corner of the end zone, Roy Hall, his second touchdown pass of the night. The Buckeyes lead the Hawkeyes 21-10 at the half.
Thanks, Mike. Dave, too deep. Ohio State overall.
They're a heck of a football team. A lot of depth, a lot of talent, Joel. No question. They've recruited well up in Columbus, Ohio.
It is now 2nd and 11. Barman on the slant finds Lamb on a little turn-in route, breaks a tackle, big yardage, and he's pulled down from behind by Shanley, who saves the score. He's down to the 36.
Yards after catch, Joel. And what a tight spin move Lamb had. And he spun to the sideline, and instead of spinning back inside, he spins away to the sideline from Young. And it's about 20-25 yards after catch because of missed tackle. Runs the slant, puts on the brakes. There comes Young. Whoops, overruns him. Tight pirouette, and then he accelerates away from Shanley.
Yeah, he's got some wheels. The senior from Lenexa. Cornish won't get away. Big play by Cryer underneath, and he's made some plays tonight, the senior. Goes at 6'2", 280.
And this is where the front seven, Nebraska feels like their front seven is amongst the best in college football. And watch Cryer right here, what he does. He takes the one gap and penetrates. He can't sustain the block up front. He beats Bob Whitaker at the point of attack and disrupts for tackle for loss. That's like a quarterback sack. Kansas off schedule.
Tackle for loss, 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 13, back at the 39. Great pocket protection. Man, too much for Marcus Henry. That was a tough shot in the small of the back from Andrew Shanley.
Yeah, when you give yourself up, when you go vertical like Henry did, you're vulnerable. And Shanley said, I'm going to make sure I deposit him, so next time he jumps, he's going to think about number 8 in the red jersey doing it to him again.
With the way the game started for that young man, Adam Barman, who would have believed at this point he would be out-passing Zach Taylor, who was 3rd in the nation in passing efficiency by 2 yards. 247 over 245, especially when you consider that Taylor's got touchdown tosses of 78 and 75 yards.
I admire his mental ability to rebound and have amnesia when necessary.
He had 2 picks in the first 2 series.
He sure did in his first 6 passes.
Now the 3rd and 13, a wobbler and almost intercepted. It was deep drop by McEwen, the linebacker.
Yeah.
He was way back there.
He was. I mean, he showed a nice ability there. You're right, Joel. You don't see middle linebackers run in the middle of the field like that. But in cover 2, if you have a middle linebacker that can run, and here he is, and it is cover 2, the safeties are separating to help the corner. So the middle of the field is patrolled by the middle linebacker and just could not get vertical enough. He got one hand on it, but could not control it.
So the punt comes as Nunn will be back at the 10. Now can Kyle Tucker keep it away from Nunn, pooch it out of bounds even. High spiral. Man, will it get there? Yes, barely eludes the wide receiver downfield for the Jayhawks, Dominic Rue.
Boy, that was a bounce that accelerated, didn't it? It picked up speed once it hit the turf.
So Lamb made the big play to take it into plus territory down inside the Nebraska 40. But the Jayhawks couldn't capitalize. Our Dr. Pepper Student Athlete of the Week, and you talked about him, a perfect 4.0. 2-time academic, first-team All-Big 12, and that's the fullback, Dane Todd for the Huskers. And
it's in biological science. I mean, we're talking pre-med here. We're talking about one smart young man who understands time management.
So what you're saying is it's not phys ed.
Absolutely.
Now Taylor needs some confidence and almost has one go the other way, trying to find Hardy on the outside. Almost picked off by Butel. He timed it well.
Yes, he did. Route recognition, Joel, and broke on the football. Zach Taylor locked in. I mean, they're starting to look at Zach Taylor's eyes now. He's not really looking his receivers off. And he kind of locked in and zipped it. And, boy, Butel just broke right on it. Former teammates in junior college, so they practiced against each other and knows each other's tendencies very, very well.
It'll be 2nd and 10. Blitz off the edge is picked up. Now Taylor, middle of the field. Hardy has it poked away. Well timed. Justin Thornton, the free safety, saved a touchdown.
Yes, he did. Just could not quite thread the needle.
Oh, man.
Did he close on the football? We've seen 2 defensive backs on back-to-back plays with recoverability speed. Zach Taylor buys a little time by sidestepping. You see Thornton just zeroing in on that football. And Thornton knows that he made a big play right there, because if he missed that football, it was a big play the other way.
Field position has certainly changed in the second half, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Now pressure comes. Taylor, well timed. He's got Purified. Anytime he's needed a big play, 6'4", 210-pound junior Maurice Purified, the transfer from San Francisco City, has come through.
And he is a big-time playmaker, Joel. And Rodney Allen got the pressure again. Rodney Allen, the defensive end, the left defensive end for Kansas, made a hit on Zach Taylor as he delivered the football. And here he comes. And Taylor just shows tremendous courage. And you know, and he's just so smart in the pocket. He's unfazed, unflappable with pressure.
Huge first down conversion on the game. Taylor again with heat, and too tall that time for Purify. But it was right in the grill of Zach Taylor.
Yeah, Rivera, the middle linebacker, Joel, came head-to-head with him. And Zach Taylor made a good throw. I mean, here comes the blitz. Here comes Rivera. Woof! That's a shot. I mean, and you're exposed right there. You know, when you're in your throwing motion, that's exactly the aiming point.
Yeah, he got him in the socket, didn't he?
Yeah, and Rivera said, I'm going to put a bullseye right there. And this guy's NFL caliber, 6'3", 250. Very, very fine football player. Tied for the team lead in tackles coming in.
He's only a sophomore. Shawnee Mission. Moving the pocket by design. Taylor. He'll throw it over the head on that side of Terrence Nunn. So another key third down coming up.
It's 3rd and long, Joel. It's 3rd and 10. That favors the defense. When it's 3rd and 10, you figure defensively you got to get off the field. And by design, as you mentioned, Joel, they changed the launch point. That's where they've made their big plays, 78 and 75-yard touchdown passes with that exact same movement of the quarterback.
The Nebraska offense, only 3 first downs so far. And the first almost 14 minutes of the third. Not exactly Nebraska-like offense at home. Looking at a 3rd and long so far on 3rd downs, just 2 for 8 for the 4th best in the nation. Taylor, heat again in his grill, and just out of the reach of Peterson. Peterson caught a touchdown early in the game on a nice scramble by Taylor.
Rivera was in his face again. And if Rivera hadn't hurried the throw by Zach Taylor, it was available. But the coverage was a little loose down the field, but the pressure was so good. And Rivera a couple of times. Bill Young's got something going on now. Watch Rivera come from that linebacker position. And he can run. He outran Zach Taylor to the intersect point. Put a hit on him and hurried his throw.
38-yard average so far for Titchener as he gets ready for his 6th punt of the game. Lamb with that big grab of the last possession. Wade's back at the 15. Good hang time. It'll be a fair catch, and Lamb grabs it back at the Kansas 10. Their worst field position to start a drive in the second half, because I was just mentioning field position has really shifted towards Kansas. Now let's see how they handle it. This kind of adversity deep in their own territory, but they're only down by 5.
Well, in Mark Mangino, I'm sure before the start of the football game, if you said, look, you might be going into the 4th quarter with the football down by 5 points, how would you feel? I think you'd feel okay.
Let's start the game now.
And particularly when he fell behind 14-0 in the first 5 minutes of the football game. His football team is a no-quit mentality, just like Mark Mangino.
23 seconds left for the first 15. They were down 17-0. Cornish can't hear the play call. Barman checked at the line. Barman cuts it back against the grain. Good yardage on first down, gets 5 up to the 15. The cutback has been working for John Cornish.
Sure has. And really what has to happen is your offensive line has to sustain blocks, because you never know where Cornish is going to take it. So you may have a key block even if the play is designed to go off left tackle. If you're the center or right guard, you might have the block that springs Cornish, or he may cut it back all the way against the grain. So as a lineman, you're always alive. Your block is as important as anybody.
Cornish 122 yards rushing already as they get it down on the edge, and Murph with the grab across the 20. Big first down, breathing room now for Kansas to their 25.
And Kansas, one of the better screen teams in the Big 12. And here they want a little receiver screen. What has to happen is your teammates at the receiver position have to make blocks on the perimeter for you, and they did. And they moved the chains as a result. You got the couple of linemen out to boot down the football field, hustling, trying to make a play.
Well, as much as we talk about Barman and the offense trying to get back into the game, if the defense didn't deal with the setback, and it was horrible field position for the defensive unit early in the game, the defense has given them a chance to get back in it.
And they forced 3 fumbles.
1st and 10, what should be the final snap of the quarter. Underneath, it's Fields. And boy, he's been a tough customer today. He leads them in receptions, as that's kind of a fitting way for Kansas to end the third. The 7th grab for better than 100 yards for Dexton Fields. The key for them as far as the passing game tonight.
Well, you have a 100-yard receiver, 100-yard rusher. That's pretty good.
So through 3, who would have believed it? Kansas with the ball, momentum to boot, and they're only down by 5 to the 21st ranked Huskers. You're watching Big 12 football presented by Kia Sarah on FSN. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium, Lincoln, Nebraska. We start the final 15 minutes of regulation. Big 12 opener for the Jayhawks and the Cornhuskers. Barman going for the bundle, looking for a Henry, and it's just over his shoulder.
Well, you know, Barman, people have criticized his ability to throw the ball deep. He's shown tonight that he can get it a little deep. I mean, he's made some big plays down the football field, not just the dink and dunk, the short intermediate stuff. He stretched the field a little bit, and you have to get protection up front to do that. And his offensive line's giving him good protection, and that's good coverage. You had to be a perfect ball, and he threw it behind the shoulder of Henry, like you described, Joel. And Henry got hurt as the defensive back. Jones fell on top of him at the conclusion of the play.
Well, how big is this third down? Kansas just 3 for 12 on a 3rd and 4, and Lamb can't come up with it. Pop free by Grigsby. Timing is everything, and boy, was Grigsby on top of that.
He sure was. Arrival of the football and Grigsby's contact simultaneous. That's what you want. And Barman thought he had something with Lamb, and he threw a good ball. Lamb ran a nice route. I mean, it's a good play by everybody. Good throw, route's decent, and good play by the defensive back. I mean, that's pretty good execution in all phases.
Terrence Nunn waiting back at the 30 for the Huskers. So all of a sudden, special's very big in a game this close. Tucker wobbles one over to the far side with a flag down on the play. And out of bounds it goes near the 30 of the Cornhuskers.
We'll see what we get going on here. Could be a multitude of things. Did somebody jump early? Was there holding on the gunner?
Yeah, it was right. Yeah, it was from the linesman right next to the gunner.
Yep.
They hold him up.
Did he start early? Oh, not enough men on the line of scrimmage, maybe. You have to have 7 on a punt formation. Maybe they only had 6 in the line of scrimmage. Got to get up on that line of scrimmage.
Illegal formation on the kicking team. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5 yards added to the end of the kick. First down.
So this is going to be the best field position to start a drive in the second half for Nebraska. They'll get it to their own 35. Our eHarmony game summary. Hard to believe we're at this point with Nebraska only up by 5, because Nebraska, as you can see, had 14 early, led 17-0, and within a minute of the final minute of the first quarter. But boy, the resilience of Kansas to hang tough. Their defense has sparked everything.
Yeah, to force 3 fumbles, and the team kind of took the personality of Barman. Barman said, I'm not quitting. Don't you guys quit either. Nobody has.
Marlon Lucky, and that's been the story of the night. Nothing there. Mike Rivera was the middle linebacker. Gain of a yard or 2 as we head back to the studio. Dr. Pepper game break time with Mike Goldberg. Mike, what's going on?
Hey, Joel, just a reminder, Game 3 of our triple header will feature the top rusher in the Pac-10 Conference, Chris Markey. And the UCLA Bruins, they are set to kick it off against Stanford at the Rose Bowl. That's Game 3 of our FSN triple header.
So, thanks, Mike. We go from Lincoln, Nebraska, one of the great places to watch a college football game, to Arroyo Seco, Pasadena, California. And you've been to the Rose Bowl. How beautiful a setting is that?
Oh, it's awesome. Bunch formation with the tight ends, Joel.
And a grab by Purified. He's got the first down. He's upset because he is barely tripped up right around the midfield stripe. Otherwise, he's got the sideline.
Yeah, he was looking for yards after catch. And on the backside, they had trips formation with the tight ends to the right. They bunched that up. And then they said, okay, because of all the tight ends, I'm going to go backside one-on-one to my receiver Purifying. He had one-on-one out there, and he just could not quite get over the foot. I mean, it was literally a trip by Butel.
Now, can Nebraska capitalize on their best field position of the second half? From the midfield stripe, a first down.
Changing the play, changing the formation and the play.
Boy, Harrion still doesn't have a catch. Stays in to block. They go to Swift. That's his first grab. And he can't get away from Aqib Talib. No, we saw the injury earlier to Eric Washington, where our prayers are with him right now. Jim Knox, what's going on?
All right, Joe, we have some great news. Just heard word from the hospital that Eric Washington is fine. In the ambulance, he was moving legs and arms. He regained feeling, and he's up and about. Everything is fine with Eric Washington.
Oh, that's great news.
Thank the good Lord.
Yeah, you can get traumatized. I remember I had a teammate, Pat McAnally, the same thing happened to him catching a ball over the middle against the Cleveland Browns, and he lost feeling, but actually regained feeling, came back in the second half and caught a touchdown pass.
Jackson chopped down again after only a gain of a yard, yard and a half. What a job Kansas has done, the front seven. This was the best defense in the Big 12 last year, second best against the run. They lost, though, don't forget, the Defensive Player of the Year of the conference, linebacker Nick Reed, to graduation.
And they had, I mean, all three of those linebackers were outstanding. And coming into today, they had 27 tackles for loss and were giving up less than 3 yards per rush. So they understand how to get lined up and what gaps to hit defensively against the run.
Well, he needs on third down 5. Does he go to Purify? No, the other side. And it's Talib jumped in front of none. We've seen some spectacular plays from both secondaries.
We really have. And boy, that's just a tremendous route recognition again. And even though early in the football game, Kansas got beaten on a double move, they are jumping those out routes. Maybe it might be time again to go out and up, the double move, because Kansas, their secondary, is being so aggressive on the edge on those out routes.
Well, that was a bullet. And that may have gotten into the shoulder pads, actually. Now the wide receiver. Lamb waits for the punt from Titchener.
It's become a field position game, Joel.
Without a doubt. And specials are so important in that. Fair catch. Lamb's got it cleanly back at his own 12. So winning the battle of field position now. It's Nebraska. But Kansas has it back, and they're only down by 5. 3 minutes gone by on the fourth. Time now for our Kyocera Wireless call of the game. As Erickson's into the game, they spread the defense, and Taylor out on the edge. Plenty of time and a wide open Terrence Nunn. He's beating his man down the sideline. Touchdown, Nebraska.
There's the old double move there, Joel, the out and up for a big 75-yard play.
Beat a true freshman, didn't he?
Sure did. He had Anthony Webb bite on that out and up he went.
Cornish, the single from the 12. Cutback's not available. Couldn't go back against the grain, but still only lost a yard. He's a tough customer.
He is. I'll tell you, the first hit's not going to take him down. You cannot arm tackle John Cornish. You have to wrap him up. He is a very, very physical football player. As you can see, he's well put together. And the hat is on, the front seven, and the black shirts of the Nebraska defense.
All right, come on. It's not putting you to sleep, buddy. It's pretty exciting up here. From the 11, it'll be second and 11. Little sprint out action. Barman buying some time. He's got a man, and it's complete to Murph. A first down inside the 45.
Wow. Unbelievable throw by Barman. And Shanley tried to come a long distance. That ball was in the air for a long time. And watch right here at the very top of the screen, the double move, the out and up. And Grigsby bites, and here comes Shanley, and just can't call. Oh, that's a tight window. Are you kidding me? Shanley never found the football. If Shanley turns and finds the football, he can make a play on it. He's just running around, but you got to get your head turned back to find the ball because Grigsby was beaten. And boy, did Barman put that in a tight spot or what?
Well, you said a tight window. If he locates the ball, Shanley's got his third pick. He's got his third interception of the game.
Get your head
Cornish almost put himself down. Got away from McEwen. Not much available, though. And he's run out inside the 41 for a gain of 2.5 yards. What a battle. A 5-point deficit. Kansas has the ball, and they've got it in great shape. First down marker. All brought to you by Overstock.com, your online source for savings on everything from video games to big screen TVs. Overstock.com. If you hear the disbelief in our voice, well, there's excitement in our voice as well, because Eric Washington is well. The young man that was strapped to a gurney and put on a board and taken to the hospital has got all his feeling back, and he is fine. Great news. Cornish battling only to the 39, so talk about a big third down. They're not in field goal territory yet.
Yeah, temporary trauma for Eric Washington, the best case scenario.
And we talked about the length of this series, the third oldest in Division 1A play. Well, it's been decided by 7 or less only 5 times over the last 37. Take it a step further, though. Don't forget, Kansas stopped a 36-year losing streak to Nebraska last year. The last time they won back-to-back was 67-68 against Nebraska.
Cornish left the field, Joel, grabbing the right hamstring. I don't know if he slightly pulled it or if he's cramping, because if you're not taking your fluids tonight, it's warm enough where you can lose enough and cramp, because he's been active.
Now, the critical third down coming up, and Kansas just 3 for 13 on their conversion drives.
And you don't have your best running back on the field.
Showing the blitz. They have the blitz off the edge. Hit the slant. Henry's got it. First down, Kansas to the 29.
I can't tell you how much respect I have for Barman. You talk about a resilient, tough-minded kid. I'm telling you, his first 6 throws, he had 2 interceptions. And now I wouldn't have been able to throw the ball the rest of the game. And he's just firing the heck out of it. He's dropping back and firing the football and having a lot of fun. I mean, I got a lot of respect for Barman's tough-mindedness, and his football team has responded to that tough-mindedness.
A little more than 9 to play with the clock moving. First down. They are in field goal range, but they're down by 5. Big run by the fullback. McAnderson plows his way for big yardage, almost 9 on the carry, close to the 20.
And good job by the right side of the Kansas offensive line. I mean, they came out off the football and said, we're moving some people, and they did. I mean, that's just an outstanding job, because Nebraska, watch the right side here. Nebraska is solid defensively. Ochoa takes one to the ground. Sustained contact here, cut back up inside. Excellent blocking.
McAnderson the single on second, and about 1.5 yards. A change by Barman. Can McAnderson find the gap? Be your own blocker. He will be. Broke the tackle. First down to the 11-yard line.
Nice job on the backside by the Kansas offensive line. This is nothing fancy. All Kansas is running is inside zone. I mean, they're coming off the ball. So a couple of down linemen are double teaming the down lineman on the Nebraska, and then rubbing off to the linebacker and just staying with their blocks. McEwen gets run by the play, and the cut is made right behind him by McAnderson. They're getting washed by their gap control responsibility.
Kansas looks for their first lead of the game. Cornish back into the game. Bolts up the middle after starting left all the way down. Close to another first down. He's shy by a little more than 1 yard. He's got it to the 3.
Kansas is taking control of the line of scrimmage.
This guy's cramping, though.
Yeah, Cornish is cramping again. And boy, you talk about a tough guy, too, though. He left with a cramp. He says, I got to get back in this football game because my offensive line's gashing people. And he wants to finish. He wants to finish what he started. He wants to finish this drive, and he wants to finish this football game.
He's rushed 26 times for close to 135 yards.
That's a busy night.
Second and 1 yard. Cornish is going to stay in there. It'll be Cornish back against the grain. Did he get there? No.
It's first down, though.
First and goal inside the 1.
Yep, another 4 cracks at it. Boy,
Bradley got to him for the backside.
Again, watch the offensive line sustain their blocks. Pretty good job. And again, the vision of Cornish is outstanding. He always finds the soft spot and cuts back to it.
Yeah, McAnderson is back into the game. Their power back. He's going to be in front of Cornish. Kansas trying to shock the football world. McAnderson, they'll push it back. He lost about a half yard. It'll be 2nd and goal. But if they get in, don't forget the clock running against Nebraska. Timeout situation. Jayhawks used one early. Nebraska still has all 3 of theirs remaining.
And there's plenty of time no matter what happens here. But Kansas would like, in a perfect world, they'd like to run this clock well under 5 minutes, maybe around the 4-minute mark, before they do score their touchdown.
Cornish in the eye. They'll throw for it, and it's fitting. It's fine. He held it that time. Touchdown, Kansas, their first lead of the game, and it comes from a guy that dropped 2 scores.
Yeah, and he was squeezing the air out of the football that time. I mean,
I gotta believe they called it because of that.
Well, I think that was the best play. That was their best goal line red zone passing attack, is utilizing the tight end. And they've gone to him more than once. And this time, as he catches it, he says, I'm putting this high and hard. I'm going to tuck it away right now. McEwen gets fooled by the play action. And he gets right behind McEwen as McEwen gets sucked up to the line of scrimmage, trying to be aggressive on the play action. And the tight end in the back line of the end zone, as Kansas was going to go for 2, they called timeout.
Well, we'll take a timeout as well, but Kansas had that botched extra point earlier, so they are forced to go for 2, trying to take a 3-point lead when we come back. Scoring on a touchdown pass to the tight end Derek Fine, have just taken their first lead of the game. Joel Myers, Dave Lapp, and Jim Knox back in Lincoln. And now the 2-point conversion try. Can they go up by 3?
And a little bunch formation up top here. See how it unfolds.
Cornish on the opposite side, flanking Barman in the backfield. No tight end in the set. Barman with the pocket holding up, in trouble and on his way down. And he took a shot to the knee from Jay Moore. So it stays a 1-point lead for the Jayhawks. 6:32 remaining. Now let's see how Nebraska responds, trailing for the first time tonight.
Weight loss program.
Two-point conversion try. He's bumped down by Rivera.
Yeah, was he ever? He was knocked to the ground. Take a look at updated keys to this football game. We have a shot here and handle the crowd noise. Only 2 false start penalties. That's a pretty good job by Kansas. They did have 4 turnovers, but they've taken it away from Nebraska 3 times. So that's been pretty much a wash there. Their average drive starts their own 24-yard line. They recovered from that bad field position the first half. They started 1 from their 6, 1 from their 1. They've swung field position to their advantage.
The real shock, they have shut out Nebraska. Taylor hit again, hangs on the blind side. As he was knocked down, it was James McClinton, and he's lucky he held on. Also, Joe Mortensen.
Oh, Nebraska, let's take a look at their keys to the game. They wanted to be more physical. And I'm not sure necessarily that that's the case. But, you know, they've run the ball for 114 yards, but Kansas has matched the physicality. Fast start, they got it. And they're 11-1 when they score first under Bill Callahan. The only game they lost when they scored first was to USC. They're 14-0 when they've led it to half under Callahan, 0-10 when they trail, and they led it to half in this one. Will they be able to hold on? We'll see. And then the big plays have been happening both ways, not just their way.
2nd and 14, bad snap, loose ball, and boy, what a play by Jackson to get on top of it.
Yes.
That saved the day for Nebraska with less than 5 minutes to play.
Now you have 3rd and extra long, though. At least they have the football, but it's going to be 3rd and about, what, 17 or 18? You don't want to be in these 3rd and so many's.
Never got away from the center.
It looks like he didn't realize that Zach Taylor was in the shotgun. It looked like he almost snapped it like he wasn't in the shotgun. And he did. He snapped it like the quarterback was under center. He didn't realize that Zach Taylor was in the shotgun. Snapped it right up like the quarterback had his hand underneath.
So now 3rd and 18, almost 19. Will they give him enough time? Plenty of time. Isolation, Hardy's there.
Wow.
Touchdown potential. Down sideline. He's in. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Ooh, boy, that final key, the big play has been the story for Nebraska. 78, 75, another deep one. They've been flipping field position by 3/4 of the field with these touchdown plays, and Mark Mangino just can't believe it. Hardy has had 2 of the big plays. He had the 78-yard touchdown when he made himself available on the crossing pattern on the scramble by Zach Taylor. And then he found the football. Kansas defensive backs never found the ball, and Hardy did.
You could see once he located it, and as soon as the man ran himself out of the play for the Jayhawks with the secondary, you could tell even 30, 40 yards away, he had a chance.
Boy, forget the red zone. Nebraska's been scoring from long range.
Now the 2-point conversion try. Trying to go up by 7. Out of the gun. Plenty of time. The bullet, and he's in. Nate Swift. What a grab. Close quarters and a 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
You got that right, Joel. That was a great contested catch, because Swift knew that he was going to get popped. Let's take a look. This is 3rd and 18, mind you. And Zach Taylor says, I'm going long distance. And Hardy finds the football, and you tell can't. And then the 2-point conversion. This is just a tremendous contested catch by Nate Swift. He gets hit and crosses the goal line for a big 2 points.
Potential, though, don't forget, with 4:05 to play, only a 7-point lead for Nebraska. Now to the Black Shirts, as they call them around here, their defensive unit. Can they come up big?
Well, in special teams have been a huge factor, as you described, Joel. And I'll tell you what, the West Coast offense gives you versatility. Sometimes you have to run it to win a football game. Sometimes you have to throw it to win the football game. The West Coast is designed to let you go either way. We'll see how this one shakes down.
Cornish, the single to the backfield. And they'll start with John Cornish, their bread and butter guy all night. He got about 3 up to the 22. So we're in the final 4 minutes of regulation. The last thing that Kansas is going to do is panic after what we saw earlier in this game, brought down by McEwen and Carricker.
Let's take another look at the big play. 3rd and 18. Zach Taylor avoids pressure, and he goes to Hardy one-on-one. He's got Buell out there, and Buell can't find the football. Hardy, a little bit of a push off for separation, not called, and it's not a foul unless it's called, and he went to the house.
3 wide receivers. And now try to change the play with this kind of noise. Cornish can't cut it back because McEwen was waiting. And he drags him down. Well, Hardy, who caught that, had only 4 catches of the first 4 games. 3 today for 159 yards and 2 long scores that you were just talking about.
And Cornish is cramping again. Cornish is having a very difficult time. His legs are starting to cramp up on him, and that's a warrior right there. He's given it everything. He has laid everything out on the field, and both of his legs are starting to cramp now. Once they start, it doesn't stop. It just gets worse.
2 timeouts on the board for the Jayhawks, and we approach 2.5 minutes left in regulation. Biggest 3rd down of the game for Kansas. 3rd and about 3. Barman looking for the slant, pops it over the middle, and he's got the first down to Derek Fine. A little one to the tight end. That's all he needed. Bo Rude brings him down.
Kansas has operated very, very well in this noisy environment, the silent snap count, and they've communicated up and down the line of scrimmage very well. And look at the protection, sorting out the twist inside, and Fine, a little bit of an option route, settles in the zone away from Rude.
Pressure on the quarterback. He finds Fine again. He's got a first down. He won't quit on the play. Now he's got to hang on to the football, and he does, down to the 49. What did Carricker clean up on Barman at the end of the play?
Barman is so tough and courageous, though. This is how you get the respect of your offensive linemen. When the protection's not good enough, you take a shot to the chops and still deliver the football with a lot of courage. And Barman did exactly that as Carricker comes in and just gives him a shot from behind.
It'll be a 1st and 10 to the 49. Straight 4-man rush. And Barman throws it away.
And Carricker on the play before, Joel, got Barman's clock in his head running a little quickly. Barman thought that he was getting that backside pressure before it actually arrived.
UCLA is scoring early at home against Stanford. After the Bruins dropped their Pac-10 opener last week, and they were surprised up in the Pacific Northwest by Washington. That's our game coming up next on FSN right after our matchup in Lincoln. Minute 55 remaining in regulation. Plenty of life left for the Jayhawks, so on a 2nd and 10 from the Huskers 49. The swing. Nick Anderson waiting. Got the block from Fields. And he gets good yardage. Almost 8. Well, he's shy of the first down. Again, the blocking downfield by Dexton Fields enabled him. That kick out.
Boy, and McAnderson is a good receiver of the football. I mean, he's got very soft hands. Last win in Lincoln, as you talked about a couple of times, Joel, October 12th of '68, a 10-point victory. And they've won 18 straight at Lincoln since, trying to make this number 19.
Now on 3rd and short. Little dump off. Fields knows where he has to go. And can he get there? Yes, he's got the first down. Down to the 38, close to the 37. Smart play. He had a cushion on the corner. Get it out there quickly.
I'm impressed with the Kansas offensive line. Bear in mind, this Nebraska defensive line led the country with 50 quarterback sacks and 140 tackles for loss. This black shirt defense last year. And they're providing enough protection for Barman to deliver the ball.
And a first down from the 37. Again, Marcus Henry, good yardage on the sideline. Great balancing act to get an extra 2 or 3, so it'll be a gain of close to 9. Andre Jones, again, like he gave Fields a big cushion on the outside.
Yeah, both secondaries are afraid of the double move. So they're giving cushion and just saying, okay, I'm going to keep everything in front of me and come up and make a play. But they're not tackling well enough. There's yards after catch for both football teams because the tackles are not being sure.
So it's going to be 2nd and less than a yard. Final 64 seconds. 2 timeouts still on the board for the Jayhawks. Barman's got the first down. That'll stop it momentarily for the movement of the chains. Well, Barman did start the last time Kansas played here in Lincoln. We talked about it in 2004. And they had a shot to win the game. Right. They had a shot in the end zone. They lost that game 14-8. So a similar experience for a senior quarterback and a bright young man, academic all Big 12 performer.
And he's got a capital C on his chest for competitor. He was not going to spit the bit, and he could have spit the bit very easily. Remember, his first 2, he had 2 interceptions in his first 6 passes. He's 0 for 6. The only guy catching the football is Shanley.
This is not a bad time to take a timeout. Jayhawks want to regroup with only 61 seconds left. They've got 1 timeout requirement.
Oh, it sure was. And like I said before, Shanley was the only guy catching the football in his first 6 attempts. He has 2 interceptions. That one was returned to the 6-yard line for a short field score. And then he said, you know what? I'm not done. And he started coming back and getting the ball down the football field and hitting tight areas, tight windows, and making plays down the football field. And then he hits his tight end Fine in the back of the end zone. Fine had dropped 2 potential touchdowns in the first half. And now he's completing over 50% of his passes, 365 yards. He has the 1 touchdown, but those 3 interceptions, when all is said and done, he'll regret. I mean, he'll mourn those for sure. But boy, here's a kid that is a great example of get up off the floor if you get knocked down. Everybody's going to get knocked down. You've got to get back up, and the great ones get back up.
Well, not always tight spirals, but tight windows, and he has found them. And who would have believed that Kansas would outgame Nebraska offensively on Nebraska's home field?
Over 1,000 yards combined.
Now on first down from the Huskers 26. Barman looking. He's got Henry. Deflected away. What a play by Andre Jones.
Oh, Andre Jones almost deflected it to Henry.
Is that the tip drill?
Oh, my goodness.
You
Jones
can't believe it either.
I know. He said, I can't get it, but I'm going to keep it alive. And he almost advanced it when he tipped it. Instead of knocking it down to the ground, he kept it alive, and Henry almost came up with it. And again, not the prettiest passes in the world, but boy, look at Henry. Oh, it's alive. He almost makes the diving shoestring catch.
Oh, man.
When you can't get it, knock it to the ground.
Now, moving the pocket on the roll, Barman. Coming back, he's got his man. It's Burke over the middle. Look out. Does he get there?
Wow.
Yes! Touchdown, Jayhawks.
What a block at the conclusion of that one. Man, a tremendous block by Rue, and he took out Andre Jones right at the 2-yard line. And now, with the extra point, looking at potential overtime. Amazing football game.
They already had a high snap that got away on a previous extra point.
Right, and it's a throwback pass. Roll right and throw back. And watch the block right here. Whew, there it is. Gets him inside the pylon. That's big-time effort.
The huge extra point coming up for Scott Webb. Out of the hold of Jonathan Lamb. Snaps a good one. It's down. It's on its way, and we are all leaving with 46 seconds left.
It had to be. It just had to be the way this game is unfolding. Murphy makes a huge play, and Dominic Rue, his teammate, makes a great block. And how about Adam Barman? 2 touchdown passes now to go with the 3 interceptions.
You said on the comeback.
Yeah, he's going to throw back. A little pump fake to the right. Now he's going to throw back to his left as Murph runs a little crossing pattern in the intermediate zone area. Over Rude and in front of the corner. And boop! Dominic Rue makes the final block. What a play.
Another great kick by Scott Webb right out of the end zone. So Nebraska at their own 20. 2 timeouts on the board. But first, Mike Goldberg with the Dr. Pepper game break. Mike.
Well, what a game you guys have, and what a start for UCLA. Little specialty teams here. Stanford back to punt. The punt is blocked. Recovered by Eric McNeil. Taking it into the end zone. Bruins lead 7-0. We get you out to the Rose Bowl upon the completion of your barn burner. Joel.
All right, Mike. Looks like a nice night in Southern California. We've had a beauty here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Awesome. The weather and the game.
Now, will we have overtime? Shovel pitch hit the line, but it falls incomplete. He wanted Marlon Lucky, but it was off target. It was at the heels of his pulling lineman.
And you know what? That's what Kansas runs so well. There's a little shovel pass.
Right.
Kansas is averaging 30 yards per shovel pass opportunity. So Nebraska said, you know, we're going to do the same thing that you do to people. You know, we know you're going to be coming on the pass rush. We're going to run a little shovel pass underneath. And he leads him too far with that left hand, as you described, Joel. That could have been intercepted. I mean, that baby was just out there floating.
It was on the back of the heels of Andy Christensen. Now, Marlon Lucky slowed down. He got to the 26. Do you stop it here? We have 2 timeouts left, 23 seconds. It's moving. They're not going to.
No, it looks like they're going to decide, you know, we're at home. We feel like overtime is ours, but, you know, Kansas scored last. Kansas has the momentum going into overtime by scoring last.
And Kansas has already outscored them 22-8 in the second half.
And they're going to leave 2 timeouts on the board. Amazing.
So now, final play of regulation. Taylor, man, it's Hardy, batted away. That time, Anthony Webb got a piece of it.
Well, he almost got that deflection now. Hardy's a blessed man tonight. Not
so
quite
at the
that
end
time.
of regulation, after they were down 17-0, 14.5 minutes into the game, no one would have given the Kansas Jayhawks a chance at overtime.
Except that man right there. Mark Mangino said, you know what? If I see anybody quitting, they're going to have problems with me. Because Mark Mangino wasn't going to quit. That guy's never going to quit. And what he has to do, his football team, is win on the road. They're 1-13 in the conference on the road. The only road win Kansas has in his tenure is at Missouri. And they're 3-16 on the road overall. Tulsa, Wyoming, and then a win at Missouri. This would be the huge road win he's looking for. His only loss this year at Toledo. They were -5 in the turnover department. They started this game -4. They've crawled their way back. His defense has forced 3 fumbles. And here we are in overtime.
Yeah, you're right. Little by little, the program is growing, especially when you consider where they were before he got there and won a bowl game. Won the Fort Worth Bowl last year.
Right.
Now Stanford, UCLA coming up right after our overtime. And let's head over to Jim Knox. Knoxy.
Guys, you may recall at halftime, Mark Mangino, the Kansas head coach, told me they just have to play with a lot of poise here in the second half. Well, they are playing with a lot of poise. He also thought they could be able to put points on the board, score some touchdowns. They've done that. They're playing with a lot of poise, and they're confident right now. They have the momentum, guys.
What's surprising is it's like they're in their own backyard. They're playing a little looser. in the second half, and it's paid off. You can see Barman moving around in the pocket freely.
You can see Barman smiling, having fun.
Nebraska, you have the choice in the even numbers.
The all-important coin
Take
toss.
offense, defense, or which end of the field you want to play. Your choice. You're going to play defense. Which end are you going to play? Guys, shake hands. We're going to have a 2-minute timeout.
So Kansas on defense when we come back. We'll see what Nebraska does. Overtime begins when we return to Lincoln. As it is tied at 32 at the end of regulation.
Nebraska will play defense at this end of the field.
Kansas shutting down Nebraska's ground game. Only 112 yards on the ground. Lucky now trying to bounce out, takes it in, only gets about 3. Now, familiarizing everybody with the overtime rules, Dave.
Well, you know, a big thing is that each team gets possession at the 25-yard line and then see what happens, how it unfolds. After the second overtime, you have to go for 2. That's the big thing. If it goes into a second overtime, after that, you have to go for a 2-point conversion. And that could end up being a big, big factor in this one, the way both teams are playing. And not only stopping Nebraska's run, Kansas is running the ball. Cornish has outrushed Nebraska.
Now Taylor, as they pick up the blitz, running it out, and the grab is there. Down to the 1. It's taken in by Nate Swift. Boy, what was that, a post corner? That was a long route.
Great route, and boy, a tremendous throw by Zach Taylor. Little bunch formation situation. He gets inside of Nunn, and as Nunn takes it to the end zone, just breaks to the corner, and boy, just good effort. Out of bounds. He drops the football after he's out. He was trying to stretch it over the pylon before he went out of bounds, but he did drop the ball out of bounds.
So 1st and goal for Nebraska, all the way down to the 1.
The official wants to make sure that he dropped it out of bounds. Was he on the field of play when he dropped the football? I wonder if they're reviewing this.
Because, I thought it was out of bounds. Otherwise, if it goes into the end zone out of bounds, it's a touchback.
Kansas' challenge, whether it was a catch.
And it was.
Yeah, he caught the football and had full possession, and he didn't drop the football until he was out of bounds. No. Kansas thought that he was juggling the football. He had the ball for more than 2 steps, and he was trying to extend it over the pylon to score.
And what Kansas is also thinking about, did he try to extend it, lose it beforehand, and then did it go into the end zone and out of bounds, where it would be a touchback? And they wouldn't have any points to show for it.
And if Kansas does lose this challenge, they lose their only timeout.
Right.
Of the
one timeout for each team.
The overtime.
In
Exactly.
overtime.
Yep. But you know what? At the 1-yard line, it's probably not a terrible call by Mark Mangino. They lost in double overtime to Toledo. So they have overtime experience already this season, and it didn't go well for them. They had 5 turnovers in that football game, and they had 2 turnovers in the overtime portion of that football game.
You know, you talk about it. That was their only loss so far, and it was their only road game.
Right.
And it was a double overtime loss to Toledo at 37-31.
And you know, Kansas has done a lot of great. Last year, with the 7-5 record, that was the most wins since the 95 team went 10-2, and it was the first bowl victory since that 95 team won their bowl game. And Mark Mangino's Jayhawks could be the first team in school history to go to back-to-back bowl games. They have not had a team go back-to-back bowl games in school history. And he is out of bounds long before the ball comes out of his hand, and he did have possession of the football. Catch 1, 2, 3 steps, and then he starts to extend it, and he's out of bounds. But boy, I'll tell you what, he's in bounds, and the ball was over the pylon.
After review, the play is confirmed. It is a catch. The ball will be at the 1. Kansas has charged the timeout.
So Kansas loses their overtime timeout.
Yep.
It'll be 1st and goal at the 1. And he was very close to getting it over the pylon.
He was. While he was in bounds, he had heads up. I mean, that pylon, that goal line extends to infinity, you know, and if he gets the ball over the pylon before he steps out of bounds, it's a touchdown. That's what he's trying to do.
Now Glenn in the eye. Bull of a tailback behind Dane Todd.
And now is Coach Callahan saying, you know what, take another look. That was a touchdown. I don't think
now
so.
Greg Burke, our referee. is coming back, and they're going to continue to look at this upstairs.
Okay, right foot in. Now he's extending the ball. There's the power line. There's the goal line. I think it might be a touchdown. I think Bill Callahan's saying, you know what, we already scored.
Or did he lose possession and it go out of bounds? Where if he did not possess it over the pylon, it's in the end zone for a touchback.
It's a touchback, yeah.
That's kind of potential as well.
That's the other possibility.
And they come up empty, and Kansas only needs a field goal.
Yeah. Does he have possession? And as he's extending it, once he crosses the plane of the goal line inside the pylon, it's a touchdown. Whether he has to have possession of it, obviously, but once it crosses that goal line, and now, okay, right foot, he's extending it. He's got possession. Does he score there? Okay, does he have possession? And as the ball's crossing the pylon, man, that's close. And Coach Callahan's saying, I think that's a touchdown.
And Coach Mangino says
that might be a touchback. Now, they did confirm that it was a catch. Kansas's challenge was it a catch or not? And Coach Callahan's saying, did he cross the goal line inside the pylon for the touchdown?
This could get ugly if it's a touchback.
The play is confirmed. The ball should be at the half-yard line.
Okay, so they spot it inside the one. You talk about 85,000 people holding their breath together.
Really? Now, does Nebraska lose their timeout? Did Coach Callahan challenge that? And
I think that was a booth review.
And his was, well, if they did the coach's challenge, I guess they could have. The booth review could have said, you know, did he actually get inside the pylon?
So it's going to be first and goal. They've got Glenn, the power back, at 6'2", 230. Behind Todd, who's a human bowling ball, the fullback. And here we go. Finally, this game's taken a while, but it's been worth every second of it. Now in the eye. Glenn, left side, walks it. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Nebraska went big. 3 tight ends and a fullback and said, we're going to try to smash it in. He would have scored and touched the ball. Nobody laid a fingernail on him. Now Kansas knows what they have to do. And watch Todd make the lead block. And really, he's got an easy time of it. I mean, everybody up front is doing a fine job.
And now there's a premium on your placements and your specials. Congdon, the sophomore from San Diego, trying to make it a 7-point game out of the hold of Jake Wesh. And executed perfectly.
Snap, hold, and kick. 3 phases. And you have to have the protection, too.
Well, things we take for granted in the first 5-10 minutes of the game.
Sure. Sure. And the big boys coming off the line of scrimmage here. And Austin with a nice kick-out block. And just well done. You know, when you pull linemen, Brett Byford, the center and left guard, Byford and Austin came around the horn. Nice down blocking by the tackle and tight ends. And the 2 linemen came around and unmolested, got their blocks. Lead, fullback, gained Todd, just escorted into the end zone.
Right after our matchup in overtime here in Lincoln, we head to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. UCLA and Stanford. UCLA with a block punt took it in for a score. The early lead over the Cardinal. Now, first possession in overtime for Kansas. Trailing 39-32. Little check off. McEwen showed the blitz. Cornish can't burn him. And big play by Carricker. Rude and McEwen clean up, but Carricker slowed him down with the penetration.
Yeah, that's the key. You know, it has to start up front. They have to be the disruptor, and that's exactly what Carricker did. And, you know, I'm looking at a big offensive lineman down there on that field. Number 77 in the white jersey, Bob Whitaker, can barely walk. Watch this guy right here. He can barely walk. If both of his knees are bad, and he won't come out of this football game. That is a true warrior that is playing for the right reasons.
Barman out of the gun. On second and close to 10. Floats it, and it's short of Brian Murphy. Critical third coming up. They know what they need, and it's not a field goal.
Yeah, this is 4-down territory everywhere now. You've got to match the touchdown. And Mark Mangino knows that one better than anybody.
Looking for their first win in Lincoln since 1968.
Incredulous. And Barman knows it too. And don't count out Barman in this Jayhawk offense. Don't count him out early.
Cornish, the only one in the backfield. Barman out of the gun. Shanley showing the blitz, the safety off the edge.
Boy, they're audibleizing and all this noise. Great composure.
And they bring everybody. Barman finds his man Henry over the middle, but he's short of the first down by a yard. So 4th and less than 1 for the ball game.
Yeah, it's 4th and makeable. And that's what Barman wanted to do. He saw the pre-snap look. He knew the blitz was coming. He went to the side adjust route and had the hot read and got rid of it and communicated all that and all that noise to his offensive line. And he went right to the slant and delivered a great ball. They're living for another down, and it's 4th and makeable. Instead of 4th and 10, it's 4th and 1.
Nick Anderson in the eye. He's in front of John Cornish. 143 yards so far for Cornish. Can he get one more here? The option to the wide side. Can he turn the corner and get it? He's got it. Inside the 15, 1st and 10 of the 14.
Boy, and I'll tell you, you got to keep your heads up on the sideline if you're a cheerleader or in the band, because you can get run over. And Cornish labeled somebody. But this is well executed. You know, the option, and Bradley's got, somebody's got to, you cannot let the pitch man have all that much room. Boy, if you're a cheerleader, you got to be heads up because they're coming hard. And this is, Cornish scored a touchdown on the option. And now he converted a big 4th and 1 on the option. Not good enough on the pitch responsibility.
So they convert on 4th down. It's a first down outside of the 14. We shouldn't expect anything else.
No, this is just a heavyweight fight, and they're exchanging blows.
Same duo in the backfield. Barman and Cornish. Quick out. Murph wrapped up. And boy, what a struggle. He wouldn't quit.
Nope.
Grigsby had him. It was like a wrestling match down to the 9.
Well, Kansas has the size advantage. I mean, their wideouts are all tall, long. And the Nebraska cornerbacks, that was a matchup that the coaches had a little concern with, because Kansas has tremendous size and athletic ability at the wide receiver position. Kansas coaches felt that if they got a good enough protection, their receivers could execute against Nebraska's secondary, and they have, because the protection has been good enough.
Well, win or lose, Adam Barman will never forget this game as long as he lives. He's thrown for better than 400 yards against Nebraska in Lincoln. Last second, and close to 5. Blitz again. They pick it up the middle on the slant. Knocked away, almost intercepted. Bounced around between McEwen and Bradley after Andre Jones timed it. Got it away from the wideout. What a pinball.
It was. Inherent pinball tendencies down there. And Bradley almost came up with the play. But as you called, Joel, what a time play breaking on the pattern by Andre Jones. Boy, it was bang, bang. And the blitz is picked up from inside out. Cornish does a good job on the perimeter. And boy, that is just simultaneous contact with the football and the DB. 3rd
and 5. Spreads them out with 4 wides. Low snap, Barman in trouble and overshoots. He was looking at Henry, but everything was out of rhythm on the low snap at his shoe tops.
McEwen was in his face. They brought Stewart as well. I mean, they are Stewart Bradley and McEwen. They brought a multiple blitz, and that says something. I mean, right now you have Coach Cosgrove, the defense coordinator, saying the only way we can heat the quarterback up well enough is to blitz. That's a tribute to the Kansas offensive line. They're doing a good job handling Nebraska's front 4 for most of this football game.
This is it for Kansas. Can they stay alive in overtime? 4th and just about 5. Blitz off the edge. Fade into the corner. Henry can't get there. Nebraska prevails in overtime.
Wow. What a game. Let's take a look at this last fade. Barman, final desperation. Henry just cannot quite separate, and once again, good coverage by Andre Jones. He stepped up in that last drive. There's a couple of coaches right there, Mangino and Callahan, that have tremendous respect for each other and their football teams. I'll tell you what, that was just one Big 12 classic right there for a conference opener.
We were the lucky ones, Dave.
Oh.
We were absolutely the lucky ones to be able to sit in on that. Let's head downstairs. Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Joe. Coach, what was going through your mind? I bet you didn't think this would go overtime. Kansas grabbed the momentum in the second half, but all of a sudden in overtime you got it right back.
I'm really proud of our players and coaches. They hung in there. There's some tough adversity. We turned the ball over in the third period, which really inhibited our ability to keep our momentum going. But credit Kansas. They did a fine job. They're an excellent football team, and I'm just proud of the way our kids showed the ability to come back and win at the end.
What were you looking at as far as Kansas's defense is concerned? You got Franz, Hardy get free a couple times deep. What was going through your mind on that play?
We just want to attack, you know, the single receiver side away from the 3-by-1 set. Just take advantage of the technique, and Zach did a tremendous job all night doing that.
Congratulations, Coach, on the victory. Joe?
Cheese snacker player of the game, Zach Taylor. He had the big plays, big touchdown passes. I mean, he had 3 of better than 75 yards.
I tell you, you look at that, 15 completions for 395 yards. Big play was the story in this football game.
Now coming up next, Pac-10 football, all presented by Kia Sierra. Stanford taking on UCLA at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena on FSN, and it's all in HD. For Dave Lapp, Jim Knox, I'm Joel Myers. So long from Lincoln. Nebraska, 21st in the nation, hangs on. Barely gets it done, beating Kansas in overtime. You've been watching Big 12 football presented by Kia Sierra.